Good evening, members of Spiritual Encrypted Encounters. How's everybody doing this evening? My name is Abe Cias. Uh, my brother in arms call me Sergeant Cias. How's everybody doing tonight here on Spiritual Encrypted Encounters? For those who tune in on Positive Spiritualist, Spiritual Encrypted Encounters up on Facebook, YouTube, we stream, and those who follow my short TikToks under ApeCS895. Welcome tonight. Tonight, I just named it Dark Shadows. Open mic night tonight, brothers and sisters. Open mic night. That's what we got going on tonight here on Spiritual Encrypted Encounters. I hope everybody's doing well tonight. How you doing, Sister Nellie Turner? Sister Madeline, how you doing? Yes, got my shirt on. There's cousin Jesse, just on time. Doing cousin Jesse. I got this nice shirt.
Oh, nice.
Let's get the flag. Flag on, and it's got the an eagle. This was sent to me from Ontario, Canada. I think there was somebody said that was going to send me something. I don't know if that's the individual that sent it or where I got this, but it's got fire on its wings, the eagle.
Cool. Hi, Madeline. Hi, Neely. Who else is in here?
Brother Juan Avila.
Hey, Juan. ¿Qué pa squeeze, vato? My Bruce, how you doing, man?
Uh, I just wanted to address something before I continue on with the show, brother and sisters. As it is, we're all going through something of our own. I've been going through a lot of things this past couple of months. With the death in the family and all, and support of my brother. Been going through a lot of things, even with the doctors going to the VA. But uh, I hang in there. I'm hanging in there strong, regardless of what's going on. I stay strong. I see how certain individuals been infiltrating our group, pretending to be somebody that they ain't, and then they go off and want to talk mess somewhere else. Before I started this live, I got in on my YouTube channel and I got up on stream, and I boot out an individual out of here. I don't got time to be being playing games with nobodies, and I'll say nobodies because they haven't been where I've been, being in the military, in combat and stuff. They haven't traveled in my boots, and I'm real boots on the ground.
Welcome,
And there's an
Mary.
open challenge with these individuals. They want to talk all this smack and disrespect. Come tell it in my face and see what happens. You will know what the meaning of a patriot is because I'll knock the crap out of you. And trust me, if you're coming at me as an enemy, I will treat you like an enemy. And the only thing I can say to you is look up the battle on Medina Ridge. Look at how many enemy we defeated and conquered in that battle. And, you know, that's within me. I work out daily. Um, you gotta, excuse my language, a fat fuck. There's freaking a deadbeat dad, overweight, sorry ass piece of crap that don't work, don't pay no child support. You guys, he's bent out of shape and he wants to be talking crap about me and brother Josh Turner. I done told you a long time ago, man up or shut up. You're not manning up, so I suggest you shut up. And then you got those old hags talking smack. Uh, Old hags, they're not even cougars. They're freaking. You mess with them, nothing but dust will come out of them. That's how old they are. Uh, Pinche brujas, keep my name out of your mouth. Go find yourself a spot because so whenever it's your time to wherever you're going, you can find yourself your little lots where they can put your body in. Because I mean, I don't know why you even bringing my name in y'all's mouth. You don't know what I'm going through. And again, that fat fuck from Oklahoma, Michael McGee, man up or shut up, man, because I will shut you up.
Especially that fat ass
I don't play
Schmiegel
around,
looking
man. I'm
motherfucker.
telling you, I don't play around. I'll beat the jokes out of your mouth.
Especially that Schmiegel looking motherfucker with glasses, man.
Yeah, you Sneagle, you're the one that's got the issues, man. Just because you get pounded in certain locations and you shit, you literally shit blood and shit doesn't mean that's a baby, man. That's putting damage to your body, man. I'm just letting you know. I'll bitch slap you and you fucking pass out with one fucking bitch slap. So keep on talking smack. And that other fat chick that looks like freaking Henrietta the hippo, you know, or if you were a cow, I wouldn't want to milk you.
That's an insult to cows.
We got open mic night, so I'm just addressing this fools. Y'all keep on bringing my name in your mouth.
We hadn't even been
All right,
talking about
let's
any
see, let's
money.
see how strong your leader is. Roach Mike, come over to Texas and take the open challenge, man. I'm ready to handle your punk ass. Yeah,
I
that's what
mean,
you are, punk ass.
why is it that when he talks, he's like
Yeah,
before he talks?
you can't even breathe right, man. You can say a sentence without pausing and breathing, man, and you want to be talking crap.
You damn mouth breather.
You should be focused on working like two or three jobs, man. Supporting your child. That's what you should be focused on. You fat fuck.
He's focused on I'm having butt love with Schmiegel. What's up, Andres Corizales? ¿Cómo estás,
I'm,
homie?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm getting a little bit out of context here, brother and sisters. But I had to address these idiots. They're disgusting, sick in the head. Especially that fucking. What did it say
Schmiegel.
earlier? It looked like one of those trolls from what's the name of that movie? I mean, he just looks freaked out from the freaking face.
He looks like one of those damn, it's like Schmiegel from Lord of the Rings, man. Ah,
Yeah.
my precious.
It looks like yeah, not the other one. What were the other ones that are running around that look like trolls?
They were trolls, man.
Yeah, that's what he looked like. Fucking maricon.
Anyway, people, it's open mic night. Anybody that wants to jump on, let's do this.
And he's not hard to find because every time he walks, shit drops out of his ass.
He widened out all
All you
sides.
gotta do is follow the shit trails and you'll find his punk ass.
Hello, Prima Evie. How you doing?
I'm not letting people get to me. I'm just addressing the issue of these
Oh
individuals.
no, this has been going on with Abe with them fools for like 5 years, Mary. He's had enough. And I don't blame him. I would have done tracked them down and taken care of business. But then they want to act tough online and then gonna cry like little girls when you face them face to face.
Now,
Hello, Diandita, how you doing?
one time
Hello,
I
Lincoln.
addressed them, and
They call it
they
law.
want to contact Temple PD, trying to get me in trouble for terroristic threats. uh, when they're the ones that were initiating everything. I just addressed the issue.
Hey, cousin, did you know I can see the future? You know what I see in the future? Oh, I see a Cholo Talk Part 2. How you doing, Monica H?
We got Sarn CS here tonight, addressing these losers.
That's just the thing, Juan. They won't box. They run their mouth. That's about it. They act like they're tough, and then they act like they're little girls. Oh, he's trying to hit me.
I'm still waiting for fucking the fat fuck Damon Peterson, Michael McGee, Chicken Cleghorns, whatever the hell he's called, to man up, man, so I can teach them a lesson. Uh, the lesson I want to teach them: you don't put a veteran's name in your mouth, and that's what you've done. And I want to teach you a lesson in life. You know what I'm about, and by then it'll be too late, buddy.
He's gonna whoop your ass with a spiritual love foundation. I'm glad
And
you're doing
you
great,
notice,
Rico.
he always wants to put females in front of him. Trust me, if those females had bombs or they had a weapon in front of me out there in the front lines, they would have been dealt with too. That's all I'm saying. If they were my enemy out in the front lines in combat, and they got a weapon pointing at me, they will be considered as collateral damage
Yeah,
in a
man.
in a combat environment.
I saw the video, cousin. I saw the video. It pissed me off, man. I saw the video. How you gonna call somebody fat when you're twice as fat? You jolly fat fuck.
He's got to take breaks in between sentences because he can't breathe right. Oh man, just because I have a love foundation doesn't mean I ain't gonna teach you a lesson. I'm gonna teach you a lesson in life. So you want to man up for your camp, Buttercup, man up. You know what Song Series is about. I represent myself. Represent yourself as a man. Man
Hey,
up.
man. Hey, man. We can even help him
Old
out.
ladies, old ladies, put on your dentures. Stay out of it. This is between me and that fat fuck. Man
Hey,
up.
man.
I'll teach you how to be a man.
We can even help him out, cousin. We can put it on pay per view and give him a bit of the money that we make for the video of him getting his ass whooped. And
And
he
if
can take it back to his
the
head.
other guy wants to man up too, because he's a guy, he's not a girl. The one
Uh,
that thinks he's a girl,
dude,
man up too, and you get it too.
I got it. I got him. I'll beat the shit out of Smeagol.
There you go. Cousin Jesse will handle Smeagol. Give me fat fuck, Damien Peterson, Stephen Michael, whatever the hell you call.
I'm
We'll
gonna
handle it.
make I'm gonna make
You
my
want
troll
Smeagol,
grow
you
out of
want to
his
keep
ass,
money
man.
in her mouth. We'll handle you too, man.
We got a duendita that survived a car crash that can handle you. She'll put them spurs on your ass. You
They're gonna
go.
be like, oh, oh Abe Science was threatening us that he's going to do this and that. You should keep my name out of your mouth.
Oh, uh-uh. That made me angry, man. That made me angry, dude. When I
One
saw
day
the
we're going to
video.
cross paths. I know we're going to cross paths one day. We're going to see how tough you really are then. One day we will cross paths. Trust me. When we cross paths, we're going to see how tough you are. We're going to see about what you and all your fake accounts are about. We're
They
going to
made
test
they
that
were
manhood.
my bros. They were doing their show and they were talking about Abe and Josh and they were making kind of fun of Abe, saying that he was crazy, that he wasn't brave, that he was a coward because he talks like that we threatened him, so that he's a coward. They don't know how he survived in combat. And man, what the hell? That made me mad. What's up, real MMA? ¿Qué pasó, vato?
Hey, I can't even introduce him to my brother in arms if they want to. You really want to know my brother in arms? I'll introduce him because they listen to the show. They know about your fat ass. They know where you live and everything. They've been knowing. Maybe one day I'll introduce you to myself and to all my brothers, my combat brothers. And all that smack you'll be talking, you're gonna be eating that shit. You're gonna be eating them words right back in. But then it'll be too late.
Come on, man. They're fat, Juan. You know they can't run. So yeah, man, it's open mic night, ladies and gentlemen. Anybody that wants to jump on, jump on. Let's go. We ready. We ready for you.
Wait, I ain't done yet.
Oh, okay.
Ortega, keep my name out of your mouth too.
Yeah,
Stand in
Ortega.
the corner, make some money for this. He's probably got you. He's hustling like a pimp. You know, I mean, as old as you are, you probably make him like $1 or two.
He
That's
got
about
you
it.
hooked.
The chump change.
He got you hooked. What's up, Alan Garcia? Welcome.
Somebody says, if you're fat Abe, then I'm a hippopotamus. Yeah, I want that fat fuck to get some cojones and man up to me. See what happens.
Oh, he can't. He can't
That'll
have
be
those
the last
cojones.
thing he ever does.
He can't. He can't show those cojones. He's saving those for prison.
After I'm done with him, he's gonna be called Micaela.
Yeah, I actually saw that Kool Aid cow or whatever her name is. Man, she didn't look like nothing. She did. She makes the Kool Aid man embarrassed.
All right, I think I've said enough about this fools. There you go. That's what y'all wanted. You want me to say something about you? I just said it.
Feel happy. We made you relevant.
Let's see if Corner Cobb jumps in here with his fake accounts, trying to man up. I want you to man up so I can teach you a lesson of a lifetime, boy. And I call you boy because that's what you are.
That's
A
what he
big
likes. That's what he likes.
and then the other Joto, pinche maricon, man, pink slap him one time, he start crying. He'll start crying like a bitch.
I'm gonna slap him like a Mississippi pimp.
Sorry about that, folks. You know how to address these fools. Another thing I want to address
Thank you,
is
Alan.
we had a somebody infiltrating our camp for a while. I've been knowing about him. I just been letting him linger in there and stuff. So he was part of that chat, I believe, because he was there. So if you don't see a certain individual here that used to be a moderator, I and I'll say it again, used to be a moderator. If you don't see him
Thank you,
here,
Alan.
it's because it's part of the camp, and he got the boot also. So whoever that individual was, if you want some too, come get some. I don't. I really don't care.
It's a Mississippi pimp slap, Ma Bruce. Oh no, Alan, just some stuff went down earlier, man, and we're just addressing it. We're about to get on with the show, bro. We're not toxic,
I
but
don't even know who
somebody.
that. That probably that Ellen Garcia is probably a boy with a fake
Uh,
account.
no, he's been in here before, man.
I've never
Yeah,
seen him
Alan.
before, man.
We are just addressing some people, and thanks to us, they're relevant again. Madeline. Oh, Madeline, you really went out there, huh? Go.
So yeah, if you're missing your wrench and you're here with a fake account, you know what I'm talking about. You've been sleeping with the enemy all this time. You want some, you can come get some too.
No seas sucio.
You know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even gonna say your name because you ain't worth it, bro. Okay, let's go on with the show. It's open mic night. I just named the title Dark Shadows. On open mic night, people can jump on and talk about whatever they want to talk about, any encounters or experiences that they've been through. I put dark shadows as in dark shadow spirits, dark shadow beings. In Spanish, we call them botoneros, succubus, incubus, anything you could think that's dark, like a shadow. The Hat Man, Hellhounds, Mothman, uh, the Stark, which anything dealing with darkness. Sometimes they said that the lycanthrope werewolf look like dark shadows with red eyes. The Bigfoots look like dark shadows with red eyes. So here we go.
You know, Coron the Cobb's gonna say he almost fight Mike Tyson. He almost did after he ran away from him.
I think he thinks he's Butterbean, man. Butterbean fought Mike Tyson and got his ass beat. I think he think, but it's not Butterbean. He's Buttercorn. He's Buttercorn. He's not Butterbean. He's Buttercorn.
Thank you for saying that, Madeline. Thank you for saying that.
Okay, to I'm fixing to share the live here on the main site.
Come on, somebody. Let's do this open mic night. We can talk about whatever.
You know what I got in store in a few, cousin. I got something that's fixing to go off. So whenever that time comes, I'll hand the show over to you. But for right now, I'll be here.
All right, man. There's the link, people. Let's jump on and say what's on your mind. What about you, Maria Garcia? Are you still in here? You want to jump on the live and say something?
Yeah.
I know if
Uh,
Cynthia was here, she'd be jumping on the line right now.
you want to jump on, Mary? I know you got a lot of experiences and stories where I grew up in the same area in the same town. So I'm
What's
more
up,
sure you
Yusuf?
have your own experiences.
Howdy, Yusuf. Welcome to open mic night, brother.
And I would just like to apologize for how I begun the show, but I had to say what I had to say. I did serve my country in the front lines, fought the Battle of Medina Ridge in Operation Desert Storm. So, it's a freedom of speech. I fought for the freedoms in this country, just like they have the freedoms to insult me. I have the freedoms to insult back. Freedom of speech. I fought for that. I actually fought for that out there in combat. So I'm able to say whatever I want to say.
Hey, Maria, you want to jump on? Just asking. You don't have to. You don't want to, but yeah, you don't have to turn your camera on. You can just use your mic. Hey, man, just like he's got the right to say what he has to say, you got the right to whoop that ass.
Trust me, if he was in the military, which he doesn't even have the courage to go to basic training through basic training, I would have dealt with him in basic training, man. Trust me.
Okay, Maria, just asking. Because it is open mic night. You can come on. Anybody can come on and talk about whatever.
Yeah, you don't have to turn on your camera. You could just leave your camera off and just speak and share whatever you want to share. You're welcome, Sister Nellie Turner. I got my. I hope this don't offend anybody. People get offended for everything nowadays. It's got a eagle with fire. Let's just share it a little bit closer. Let me see.
I
The eagle has fire. The wings of the eagle has fire.
got Scooby Doo.
And cousin Justice got Scooby Doo on.
It's Scooby Doo Tuesday.
You're welcome, Sister Mary. Yeah, the moderators got it. You come in here acting a fool, pa fuera. We don't got time.
And then we're gonna roast you. Thank you, Nelly. I'm waiting for to see if Beyond the Box come in because she brings the Scooby snacks.
Scooby.
That's Scubby. Scooby is a SCOOBY. Scubby. She calls him Scubby. Scubby Poo.
So what do you think about all that? I know you've seen the what the people were
That's
saying, cousin.
yeah.
It's ridiculous, right? They have no content, and they have to insult people because
Yeah.
they got nothing. They need to get
Oh,
something to talk about.
they
Ridiculous.
got it. And then they accuse people of doing what it is they're doing. Don't be coming in our channel spying. They're the ones that come in here, man, and spy. They take content and say, "Oh, it's evidence." Evidence. These nuts. How the hell are you gonna accuse people of doing the same crap you're doing, and then you're gonna get mad and say, "Oh, don't come do it to us," but you're doing it to everybody else. It's like he wants to hold the monopoly on this genre of a podcast, man. He wants to be the only one.
You can't even hold his belly up because he's so heavy.
Abe, let me tell you. Every time you breathe, it sounds like that mouth breathing sucker. Yeah, yeah. They cop. I remember when they tried to have the Lechusa show and didn't even know how to spell it or what it was. We were looking for La Chusas. Yeah, I agree, Nelly Turner. They're just trying to keep relevant on a dying show that nobody watches because we've seen shows where he has zero viewers.
A dying show with the Beast Whale as a co-host. Steven Yazell. You know who that is? There we go.
uh,
Oh, there you go, brother Steven.
Oh yeah.
how
How's it
you
How
going?
you
doing,
doing,
man?
brother Steven?
Welcome.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Sorry about the how we started the show, man. I just barely seen all that stuff that we're saying. I was like, what the hell
I
did I
didn't
do?
catch any of it, so no worries.
That's okay.
Yeah, man. Thanks. So the floor is yours, sir.
um,
Whatever you want to talk about. I had put Dark Shadows up there. I don't know if you witnessed anything like that, like shadow figures or
Not lately. I mean, I'm still like going to the WalMarts, looking for inventory for my eBay store, but it's been real rough. Like, there's not much out right now, and I wonder why that is. But I'm not running into these dark individuals anymore out at the stores. Uh, Last year was probably the worst, and I saw like a black like shadow over someone's face.
oh wow.
Like, in particular, like this guy was he entered the aisle, and like right away it was like black shadow, and I like looked out of the corner of my eye like, who's this? And thankfully I haven't run into the guy again, but I know that they're around. But it was just like very hostile, like just getting like he was shoulder bumping me at a few places to like get to the boxes before me. I was like, dude, chill out. But I don't know what's going on in his life. Uh, I've prayed for him for the negative entity to be released, and hopefully he's doing better now. But distance is usually the best with that stuff. It's just weird that that happens while I'm out doing my normal routine, and I have to change up my routine too from time to time, just to I guess to give the universe a little bit of mystery. Like, oh, I'm not going to go out here like I've been like every single day for the past month. I'm just going to sit home and see how the cards fall. But other than that, I've been having a good day. I've been to the stores that I went to. I was talking to some of the employees, just small talk, I guess, just being nice.
Cool.
And I think that goes a long way too, because like some of these employees, they open up about their day. They're like, "Oh man, like I wasn't here the other day, and everything got all messy, and everyone was asking where I was at." And I'm like, "Yeah, you're holding the ship together here. It sounds like." So it's nice having that interaction with people, and I mean, I don't
Yeah,
go out
don't say the word shit because some people from other channels will get excited when you say the
anymore.
word. I'm just kidding, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's good. I'm feeling the good vibes, so I'm also sharing it, and
So,
I think
so
that's
the floor is on all yours, man. Whatever you want to talk about. What I'm going to do, I'm going to step out a little bit for the moment. So I'm going to leave you and cousin Jesse here with the show. Whatever you want to talk about, experiences or what you witnessed, or doesn't matter what it is. You're more than
And
welcome.
anything in general, man, that you want to talk about, we could talk about it.
I've been here in the sideline monitoring the chat.
Yeah,
um
man. Yeah.
sure. I guess I'll share a story that my mom recently shared with me. She had gone out to Volo Auto Museum in Volo, Illinois,
Oh, wow.
and it's a big, like, I guess you want to say like permanent thrift store. They have
Hmm.
booths and everything, but they also have a giant classic car collection.
Oh, wow.
And like they have the Batmobile there. They have a few like the 1960s TV series Batmobile.
That's the only Batmobile.
Yeah, I like that. I like that one. And like I even get little cars of it too.
Oh, yeah. That was the
Cool.
only Batmobile, man, that I recognized.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I my mom goes to there. She takes me along every now and then, but the other day she went with my uncle. So it was like a siblings day. They went out together, and she said she was standing in a certain area in the thrift store, and she was just looking at stuff. And she said she felt like a poke, like somebody poked her shoulder.
Hmm.
And so she turned around thinking it was somebody there, and nobody was around. And Volo Auto Museum, the thrift store portion of it, has had photographs taken of shadows, and it's only in certain parts of the area, but it's there's definitely like attachments that come in with all of these goods that are being resold. And I talked about this last week, but it was the last time I was there was 2 weeks ago, so they went last week, and I didn't experience anything abnormal there. Thankfully, I picked up a book, a few diecast cars, but I'm not going out to seek this stuff out. I'm just kind of now reporting if it happens or not. And I used to go ghost hunting. I've gone to Bachelor's Grove Cemetery. I think there's like Resurrection Mary Cemetery. That's another famous one on the way to Bachelor's Grove if you're driving down south of Chicago. And I've never really had any experiences, and I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything because I don't want attachments.
Exactly.
So I've been really, I mean, there was that one time, actually, the same year I got this shirt, I went on a ghost tour in Denver, and I talked about that before, where it felt like something was keeping me from going up the steps of the front porch of the most haunted house in the area.
Oh
And
wow.
it was like a magnetic force. It felt like I was every step that I took, it was like I was in sand, if that makes sense. Like I don't know how to describe it, but I was able to still move forward. It just felt like there was some like pressure keeping me back from walking up the steps. I had to give a little more effort to get up. And beyond that, I really haven't had any other experiences like that. When I was young, I had woken up one night in the middle of the night, and my whole family was checking up on uh, a family member at the hospital. I had no idea, but I woke up during the time that nobody was in the house. And I got out of my bed, I walked out of my room, and I tried to speak. Like I tried to say, "Mom, Mom," but then like nothing would come out. It was like I was like my speech was like taken from me, and it kind of freaked me out. But I didn't know that nobody else was home. And the first thing I did was I think, oh, I'm just gonna go back to sleep, and I did. And I woke up the next day. I was able to speak fine, but then I learned that nobody was home during that time.
Wow.
That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it really is.
Like what would take your voice away and do that? And like was there like another presence that was like checking me out there during that time? Because I know when you're younger, when you're a child, you get these like you have like the veil's lifted when you're a child, and children are able to see a lot of things that adults can't. Like many of the stories of like imaginary friends, like some of these are actually spirits or entities, depending on like their intentions. And most of the time, people just brush off children talking about imaginary friends. Now, there's sometimes they get all creative and they make up stories because they see that like the adults are like listening to them. But I don't think that's a majority of the cases. Like there are children that are witnessing things that we can't see, or some, or most people can't see as adults. And I wonder why that is. I wonder when that point in time that shifts. It's probably puberty, and I don't know why that is. But when we were talking about like incubuses and succubuses, that could be a thing. A lot of
You
people
know,
probably have those attachments, especially with porn addiction, and it's just it's a mystery to me, but it's fascinating.
you I believe that as we get older, the reason we stop seeing and things start happening to us because I think that the older we get, the more innocence we lose. That's why we quit seeing us. Like I believe that baby gibberish, is actually the language of God and the angels. And it's funny how we forget it as we get older. That's just the thought that I think about, man. I don't know if it's true or not, but it kind of makes sense because the older you get,
I actually remembered something that happened 2 days ago. So I don't know how to say this. In the morning, my mom, because I live here with my mom, my grandfather, and my uncle, and my grandfather's 86, so like we're kind of looking out for him. But he's very active, doing stuff every day. He mowed the lawn today. Like he enjoys doing that stuff. So we make sure he has stuff to do. And in the morning, though, 2 days ago, my mom knocked on my door and I was sleeping. And later in the evening, I got up and I have all of like these DVDs and CDs that I'm putting up on eBay
oh
that are
wow,
collected. Like I've collected these. These are these are other people's collections that they've thrown out, and like it was gonna go in the trash. So I'm reselling these so that they have a second life, and also some of these are from my cousin that's no longer with us. But in the evening when I got up and I'm doing my work here, I walked past some CD stacks that I have here, and I knocked into it, and an avalanche of the two stacks just went.
Wow.
Oh man, it sucks when it happens. It rarely happens, but it happened that evening. And then I spoke with my mom later, and she didn't even hear that one. Okay, she didn't hear that. But in the morning, she had said that she had heard something fall, a big bang, like what I had happen in the evening. I'm like, nothing happened in the morning as far as I know. I was sleeping. So I didn't hear anything. And usually I'm a light sleeper. I wake up like that. It's like a door is shut in the house. So most times I'd have to sleep with earplugs in, but I haven't been doing that lately because I don't really need to. And but when she told me that she heard a big bang, I'm like, there there was a big bang this evening, but there wasn't a big bang in the morning, as far as I'm concerned. And I'm wondering if she had a time slip moment where she heard that stack of CDs fall from the evening, but in the morning.
Oh wow. Hmm.
And since I've been doing a lot of research on like the energy grid and all this other stuff with time slips and ley lines, I'm wondering, like, did my mom experience that? Because she very well could have.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
But
Yep.
yeah, that was just 2 days ago, and yeah, I still have a bunch of stuff here that I'm trying to sell from my cousin, and I mean it's selling, but it's taking a long time. Like I gotta have a lot of patience with that. But
Yeah. I'm not gifted on patience, man. I admit that. Uh, I'm trying to get patience, but never been one of my strong suits.
yeah, I have to practice it a lot because I'm not good at it.
I know where you're
Like
coming from, man.
I can get really impulsive, and that's also why I don't drink anymore because I really I don't have an off button. That's the easiest way for me to explain it. Like I don't like saying I'm addicted, but I don't have an off button.
I'll
Uh,
call that being a power drinker, because that's why I don't drink because I don't know when to say when.
some of the last alcohol I was drinking tequila. It was like I was like, this is the only thing that doesn't give me a hangover in the morning.
Oh wow!
And then I switched up to like the 10% alcohol beers, and I'm that was the last thing I drank, and I'm like, I can't do this shit anymore. Sorry.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, like I was like, this is just too much because like I take the next day to recover, and like I get nothing done. So I've had to. This is my second time stopping, but this is my last time stopping. The only
Well,
reason I started drinking again after like five and a half years was because I want to say peer pressured. It was during it was well after college, but like I was back in going to film sets and that environment. It's either you vape or you drink, and it was not a professional set, so there was drinking happening, and that roped me back in. They sent me home with a bunch of beer. Like I should have just
mm,
out.
yeah, that took me a while to actually stop completely because I would stop and start, and I'll be honest with you, man. This friend of mine, he gave me a bottle of what was it? I don't know. I can't remember. It was like a pint. Uh, He gave it to me like 3 days ago, man. I still have it sitting on my dresser. I haven't even touched it. I look at it, and when I look at it, I tell myself, you don't need it.
Yeah, like if I ever get given alcohol again, I need to just give it away right away. That'd probably be the best thing, or just dump it. And I know, like, I was in some of the most like alcoholic circles you could think of, like in college, where that's all they did is drink, and they ingrained it into my head that like, oh, it's a sin to waste alcohol. You
Oh
know,
yeah, man. That's
with
alcohol. That's alcohol abuse.
yeah, that's what they would call it. Yeah,
Yeah, it's alcohol abuse. But I have it there to test my willpower. That's what I'm doing. I'm testing my willpower to make sure that I don't have that mental weakness that I'm going to need that, because that's what it is. It's a mental weakness.
yeah. If it's out of sight, it's out of my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I mean, worst case scenario, I keep the alcohol for bartering if things go south.
Yep, yep.
Like, give me
You
some
know,
food, you get this alcohol. Like,
yep,
easy,
yep,
easy. I'd
yep.
love to get food for alcohol.
That's a good thing right there, man. You can always trade alcohol for anything, man.
Yeah, or even use it for cleaning wounds if you need to. Like, and that's more like rubbing alcohol, but you could use vodka the same way.
No, not vodka. That was my preferred poison, man. When I used to drink, just vodka on the rocks. That's all I would drink, man.
Yeah,
But I'm a lot better now. Hello, Wendy. How you doing? Yeah, man. I know how it feels, man, because me and my brothers and I, we started drinking young, man. We were like in our early teens when we started drinking. Now that we're all in our 50s, when we throw a party, we no longer get beer. We all drink Coke.
yeah. I think I started drinking at like 18, 19.
Oh man, you were.
Too. But that's how it was. Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
think.
I was only in the dorms for 3 months. My roommates would do acid, and I did not want anything to do with that because it was. I knew about the effects that it has on the brain, the permanent trip and stuff. So
Hello,
I
Cynthia.
far away from that.
I don't know, man. I'll be honest with you, man. When I was 13, 14 years old, man, I dropped a lot of acid, man. The plastic, man. I like the blue microdot. And every time I took that, man, I was always chasing gremlins. Oh man.
I've done mushrooms, but like it's the first time I had them, I didn't feel any effects. The second time I had them, the table I was sitting at started like being liquid almost. Like it did mess with my eyes, and then I went outside. This was at night. I looked up at the stars in the sky, and they all had like halos around the stars. Like it was very colorful. Even the headlights of cars, it was just like rainbow colors.
Oh yeah, I've
It
been
was
there.
the most
I think
vivid thing I've seen with that.
I think the first and only time, man, that I got a hold of some mushrooms, we made some tea, and I've told this story here on the live, man. I'm telling you that I went on a bad trip, man. I was under my bed screaming that the snakes were trying to get me. My mom was pulling me by my leg, trying to get me out from under the bed. So yeah, man, I never messed with mushrooms after that, man. And not eating or drinking, nothing like that, man. That's a
Yeah,
good thing. Smoking, welcome in.
there's like too many hoops to jump through these days to get
Welcome
that.
back, cousin.
It's better that it's difficult to attain. because then I don't think about it.
Yep. Out of sight, out of mind, man. But
I
it's
got
like I
lucky,
tell
man.
everybody, man.
I'm on a certain journey right now myself where I'm making sure I'm staying clean as far as like using drugs or alcohol, and like the most I've done is the mushrooms. I've smoked cannabis a lot, but I've also drank a lot of alcohol.
Well, I'm not drinking soda tonight, smoking.
Yeah, I got my water here.
Yeah,
Oh, and so I've also stopped drinking energy drinks, and I've switched
those
over.
are bad for you.
But I know I need to get off of the coffee. I'm getting it for the caffeine, but I think ultimately, like not magic mushrooms, but like regular mushroom coffee, I think will be the way for me to go. Because I did have some of that last year, and I really liked how I felt drinking that day in and day out. So like I'm always trying these like nutritional supplements. I used to work for GNC, and I was really into uh, I guess weightlifting, not bodybuilding. So I was taking all sorts of like pre-workout supplements. I probably have so many toxins that I'm still getting rid of from those days.
Wow.
Because I mean, you think they have all of these artificial dyes and flavors in these pre-workout powders. Like, that was probably even worse for me than some of the other stuff I was doing. But it is what it is.
Hello, Chief's Leaf. Yeah, man.
Now
I,
you're
I
saying
really,
it. Yeah.
I really don't drink coffee, man, unless it's cold outside. Other than that, I don't drink coffee. Welcome back, cousin. How you doing, man?
All right, all right. I got lucky.
Yeah, yeah, all right. And there's the link, ladies and
I
gentlemen.
placed the link here. If anybody else wants to jump on, share a story or something dealing with experiences.
Yeah, come on in. Tag me out.
It's open mic night, so anybody's they're welcome. That has something to share with the audience. I know Sister Cynthia has a lot of stories. Maybe she would like to join. It's up to her.
No,
Bring on the yes.
I was gonna say, like 2021, 2022, I started going and watching wrestling live again for like the first time in 20 years.
Oh wow.
And so I was buying the the beer at the venue. Some of those are like $18 a cup.
Yep,
Wow.
yep.
And going like I still go to this day, and I've been going since I've stopped drinking, and it's so much more enjoyable just being there for 4 hours sober, just like getting lost in the hype of everything. I don't really watch anything else besides a few YouTube shows here. Like I don't have my TV active. I don't have cable. Like I don't watch anything like that. And the pro wrestling, like it's right up my alley. So when I want to escape, I go and watch that stuff.
Well, I'll be honest with you, man. The last time I went to see a live wrestling show, it was here at the Will Rogers Coliseum, man, and the Von Erichs were fighting the Freebirds.
Oh, it's a long time ago. World class wrestling.
Yep, that's the last time I went to see a live wrestling because my grandfather liked it, and my dad was an amateur wrestler in Mexico, so they would round up all the family in two bands, and we'd hit the Will Rogers Coliseum, man.
Wow.
Every Monday we'd go as a big family, man.
Oh, that's awesome. Man, just going every week, that idea.
There you
Like,
go,
that
smoking.
excites me, man.
Whoever it is that wants to call in, there's the link. So you got a UFO story. Come on in, share it.
What you doing, Tom Fox?
You don't have to. You don't have to put your camera on if you want to. You can just speak. Just make sure you shut it off so your camera will come out of camera. It's up to you. There it is, right there.
I haven't really heard too much lately about certain UFO stories involving gigantic ships that are hovering very like low in the sky,
Hmm.
where like it's at night and people look up and like that's all they could see is just the ship. Like there's no sky. So like those mega ships, haven't heard too much about those. But maybe 5, 6 years ago, I was hearing some of those stories. But they're probably still out there.
I've seen a lot of things identify flying objects while I was in the military. You know, the you don't know if it's that or I mean it moves too fast to be our technology at the time. But they said that our technology is a little bit advanced. It's just they never put it out there in the front lines. They have it, but it was looked like a aircraft with different colors, and it kept on doing the figure eight. We was in Fort Owens, California. National NTC is called National Training Center, and we're out there doing on our tank at night, and we could see this thing that came down to our view, and it's doing a figure eight. It's moving slow at first, right? And you can see the different lights changing colors. And I'm like, man, what is that? And then it starts going real fast and like moving at a high rate of speed, and it goes shoots off straight out into the atmosphere, like real
Hmm.
fast. So
Wow.
I don't know what is it that we're witnessing, and we just said, what was that? But it was changing different colors. Like, uh, was it our technology? It's like you knew we were there because it was right there by us. Here you go. We got Neva's sister, Neva's angel.
Hello.
We witnessed that in Fort Owens, California, in the National Training Center. Uh, it moved too fast that we didn't have no camera, or we're not allowed to take like stuff like that out there to those training grounds. So I mean, some people will take pictures, but at nighttime it's hard to capture something like that. We didn't have that technology like they have now back then, but we seen it. you know what
Welcome
was it?
in, Cynthia.
I've never seen a falling star do a figure eight and then go back into the atmosphere. A falling star is a falling star, right?
Yeah,
So what
yeah, I've
was it?
seen
Was it
plenty of those.
our technology? Was it a identified flying object? Or we know other things that can do that? Or was it the DDN? Because this somehow we're called the angel of light. So was it the DDN playing a game on us, thinking it's a UFO, so we can believe in it? And then if we believe in it, then it's a spiritual opening.
Interesting.
Mhm. Hello, Cynthia. Welcome here.
I
Hi.
don't see
Hi,
Cynthia.
gentlemen. Pretty
Bring
good.
on the red lipstick.
I have an oil painting of my UFO sighting in the forest. This is
Cool.
probably
You got it right there.
like 16 years ago. Yeah, it's not finished yet.
Oh wow.
So this is the object, but it had a bunch of like windows on it, and it was gonna land. It was gonna come down. Like this is supposed to be a field. It was gonna land in the field, and like this is from my perspective. And I
Wow.
just was saying in my head, no, 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 no. Like I don't want any of this. And this thing just almost like it changed course, like it was gonna land, but because I thought, no, I don't want to experience this, it like went back up and went away across the trees, and then it shape shifted into like more of like a cylinder.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, I tried my best to like make trees and everything, but like I need to. This is my first time doing oil painting, but this was a general idea of the shape of the thing. It looked like a pyramid with the top cut off, but windows going all up and down. And so I didn't see any other entities or anything. But this was a thing that one my own I was with, well, I think three other people. Only one of them saw it. They pointed it out to me. The others, they didn't see anything, which is it still boggles my mind to this day. But I've also heard that like
Um,
you're shown
oh, sorry.
things. Sometimes it's like just for you, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Something.
um, here in Phoenix, we had a sighting. It's literally on YouTube. It's called the Phoenix Lights. It was a triangular shape, and everybody, even the governor, called in to see what was going on because, like, the phones were blowing up, and you couldn't get, like, people couldn't get through see to tell people that they were seeing this thing, and it was huge. It was in the shape of a V, and they said they were flares. No, because we saw them all move. And
The,
some
the government
people,
the government does have aircrafts that are triangular shaped that the Air Force uses. They're like
yeah,
hovercrafts. Some of them are like hovercrafts, but they move very rapidly,
this was really huge, and it
like a
stayed in
mothership.
one spot. Yeah, it stayed in one spot for a while, and then it went from Phoenix all the way into Tucson, towards Tucson, and then it disappeared. So I literally saw it while it was coming across the mountains, which are called the South Mountains. I lived on the other side, and the South Phoenix side, it was there for a long time. And everybody was freaking out. Like, my sister and her husband saw it. His parents saw it. Like, everybody we knew we were all looking at it. We were just like, what is that? And it was just, you really, really couldn't see the top of it, which was really odd to me. You could just see the lights in a V formation. And then you could see, like, it was thick. So it wasn't just lights, but you really couldn't see the top. That was the oddest thing to me. Some people say that they did see it, but I couldn't see it, the top of it. I just saw like dark mass, and everything was in a V formation. So that was, to have the governor call in, I know we weren't all crazy.
That's
So
weird.
yeah, it's just something that it was at night, and all of a sudden it caught everybody's attention. But everybody, the news reported it. I mean, it's on YouTube itself. It's called Phoenix Lights. If anybody wants to check that out. I don't know how many videos there are of it, but I do know I just saw one of them. But when I was younger, I was telling Jesse a while back that I used to have that I had a dream. This one wasn't the reoccurring dream, but I had a dream one time when I was little, and it was vivid. It was like very, very vivid, kind of like a lucid, because I could feel myself there. And for some reason, I had gone to my mom's room, and that the back side of the house faced west, and all behind us used to be desert until you got to the South Mountain area, and all that area was native burial ground. So, but right behind us, there was acres and acres of just open desert. And I remember going to the window and looking out the window, and I saw this huge ship, and it was dark, but it was metallic, and it was so big it took up like the whole space of the desert, and it was hovering there, and I was just staring at it, and all of a sudden a door came down, and a really, really pretty woman came walking down. She didn't have anything on her head, but she had a black, like leather or latex suit, and her hands were covered. I remember her hands and her feet, it was just like one suit. And she was telling me not to be afraid, that they were just here to see, to make sure everything was like okay, or what was going on. I can't really remember. Um, but she wasn't talking. It was literally mind speak. And she was just telling me not to be afraid. And I don't remember after that. She just walked back up. There's parts that I don't remember, but she walked back up and the door closed, and then it just went up and zoomed out of there.
Wow.
So I'm like, I have never, like, my mom didn't let us, growing up, Jehovah's Witness, like, you don't, they're very strict about what you watch because, spiritual openings. I couldn't watch anything to do with witches, witchcraft, or anything with magic. Um, Not even I Dream of Jeannie.
Mm.
and so I wasn't familiar with all that, like sci-fi or anything like that. I don't. I didn't really watch those kind of movies.
You didn't have anything to compare it to
Right.
in terms of the movies, yeah.
Correct. So there's not like I dreamt of it and then like I saw it and then dreamt of it. It was just very odd, and I remember that like it was yesterday. So bizarre.
Yeah, and it's similar with my experience. And even to this day, it feels weird talking about it because I don't know. It wouldn't have been what I would have expected from a UFO encounter. It's I'm
They're
more
just
comfortable talking
bizarre.
about like the flash of light that's like a star in the sky and then going like a check mark and fading away on the check. Like that's like much more solid evidence to me than that forest with the pyramid with the top cut off with all windows on it. But it did
I've
happen. It's
read
still
about
in my
those.
mind. Like I can see
I've
it.
read about that shape though. The pyramid shape. I have read about that.
I'll show it again. Yeah, because it like this is the bottom of it here. So you get the idea of what the shape's like. And that's the whole point of me making this was to get the
Oh,
shape. So I'll have to do different renditions of this, but I
it's kind
wanted
of
that.
dark.
Yeah, I kind of like mashed all the colors together. I was supposed to have like the river
Oh,
that's there, the trees, and I just made everything just blend together. I just kept using more and more oil paint.
he'll learn.
I've heard that sometimes when there's a UFO sighting, there's dogman and Bigfoot sightings too at the same time. Do you think it's all dealing with the same? Uh,
That's interesting.
that when there's a UFO sighting, that there's other activity happening also simultaneously.
Hmm.
Right.
Uh, when there's a UFO sighting, do you think it's dealing with the same thing? I mean, you said it went from one shape and then a shape manifested to a different shape, right?
Hmm.
So I know the DDN can do that. Somebody
Oh,
demonic Nephilim that they can look like something, and within a blink of an eye, it looks like something completely different. You know, but to my understanding, there's been UFO sightings. There's been Bigfoot, I believe, Dogman, and the shadow figures that
Ugh,
appear. I
don't
think
get me
it happened
started.
in Chicago, the
Oh
airport in
wow.
Chicago. There's an airport over there where I think in that
Sure.
weekend there people were
O'Hare.
seeing Bigfoots, they were seeing Dogman, they were seeing UFOs, the Hat Man, and shadow figures. But what was happening
Oh.
that weekend in Chicago is there was a lot of killings, where a lot of black on black crime. So to me, it feel like when they appear that there's bad things that are happening. So it's got to be to me, kind of like demonic in nature, you know.
Yeah, a lot of the
Chaos.
reports, like, because I'm right on the edge of Chicago here, so I was all fascinated following all of that. Lon Strickler is a researcher that he sent people here to the area to gather accounts of the Chicago Mothman, and just across the board, it was like the same thing: red eyes, the leathery skin with the wings, the whooshing sounds, and then also screeches that sounded like the CTA train running. It's like
Mm.
I can't, I don't want to make the sound.
Creatures, that's kind of like a lechusas,
Yes.
possibly lechusas Mothman. Like, should I make the sound? No, I won't make the sound. I know
Yeah.
how.
No. No, Abe, no.
Just think of, here's an easy one. Think of the Matrix when the subway train is stopping and then Smith comes out. That's what it sounds like. The
Mm.
screeching to a stop, but that's what the screeching of this being sounds like.
Welcome, 525. How you doing?
Yeah, I've heard of that.
I do think it's connected to a lot of the murders, though, because there's it's
Yeah,
like
a lot of
every day.
chaos.
Yeah.
They're saying make the sound.
Make
Mm-mm.
the sound of the chusa.
I'm like, no.
You know what happened the last
You
time we did that?
don't want that 525. The last time that happened, we lost the right to pray for somebody.
Oh no.
Yeah, O'Hare Airport, though, some of the employees were giving firsthand accounts of like seeing beings hanging out in the hangar bays of the planes,
Oh
and
wow.
then they were given like a gag order because a lot of them that were speaking out just suddenly stopped, and it's been like this for the past like 2 3 years.
Yes, some of those airports were built on in a native Indian burial ground,
Oh, I believe that.
and
Well,
that's why there's
everything that,
activity in
sorry.
those airports.
Yeah, the Denver airport's really creepy too.
Oh, yeah. I drove past that dark horse the last time.
Oh, that's, yeah, it killed the guy who made it. It fell
Right.
on him and killed him. If that isn't creepy, I don't know what is. Well, they
Welcome
say
in, everybody.
there's a lot of tunnels beneath there, and supposedly there's uh, a emergency city that um, only the elite have access to underground. And a lot of truck drivers have said, yeah, there's openings that we could literally drive a big rig down there to drop off supplies.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the Hollow Earth stuff is true too, because that plays right into that with having underground cities and like why not in the mountains? It kind of makes
Right. Well, there's tunnel systems that go um, all the way into the East Coast, you know? So it makes you wonder, was that, did that happen like before the flood? And that's
That's a
how
good
some
question.
people survived, or some things survived. Who knows? Because
All I
why would
know
there
is
be
that
tunnel systems?
I don't know that it's coming to pass what it said in the Bible, and then they would hide under the earth from the sight of the
Yeah,
Lord.
but you can't escape the wrath.
Yeah, some
Yeah, I've
of
seen
the
them videos. I've seen
there's
them
like
videos. Go ahead, sir.
no, it's okay. Uh, I was gonna say there's like evidence of bricks being melted, buildings being melted.
Hmm.
Like we have no idea like how many times like there's like Phoenix phenomenon where like we have these uh I want to say like comets that come by and it just scorches the earth every few thousand years.
Oh yeah.
And that could be part of like the underground tunnel system stuff.
Oh, true. I never thought about that one.
Like it's there for those events and only like a certain amount of people know about it.
Yeah, a lot of those underground tunnel systems were built when the United States had they were doing the nuclear things back in the '60s and '70s, where they were setting off the nuclear alarm, and the kids had to hide underneath the. They had those drills, atomic bomb drills, where they were sound off the alarms, and you have to hide underneath your desk in
Oh,
school. I grew up
oh
around that.
gosh. Yes, that
Uh,
was our era.
well, there was a lot of tunnels and that are in the mountains and all that were built by our government back in the day. I think they even
Mm-hmm.
had locations where there was like a city built underneath the ground, just in case there was a fallout. People would be
Yes.
living under the ground, in this man-made bunkers that they built. They have food and all kinds of stuff in there. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I know in the on the bases they have locations like that that's under the ground. They have locations where, of course, they got the nuclear warheads, just in case there's a nuclear war. They have certain locations where they got them in the ground, but a lot of underground bunkers, and not just bunkers, but like big locations. Germany, it's got the underground bunkers, and they got passageways that go from city to city. You know, so they were prepared for a long-term war, which they could explode everything up on top, but they had things under the ground. Many locations have those underground bunkers, or they have what do you call it? Passageways that go from city to city. Believe it or not, the desert out there when I was in Saudi Arabia, they have underground obstacles or bunkers where they have mortar pools of tanks and stuff like that under the
Oh.
sand.
Do you know the story of like Lower Wacker Drive in Chicago? Like why it exists? They changed the grading of the city. So what they did was they raised the entire city up like a story or two, and then they redid all of the addresses in the city. But I got a few other things to share here. University of Chicago, it was founded by the Rockefellers. They have Chicago Pile 1, which is the world's first nuclear reactor to achieve criticality, and it was part of the Manhattan Project. So you have those two things, and they have the Doomsday Clock at the University of Chicago, and it has a museum on campus where they have all the old Assyrian. Well, they have one of these things, but they have other artifacts. The biggest thing they have though is the bird-headed man that's just kind of like sitting there. I wish
Oh.
I could bring up a picture of it, but it's like a half beast, half man thing.
Mm.
But this school has so much like history to it, and plus the fact that it was founded by the Rockefellers. I really wonder how much extra stuff is there. And when you consider the grading of the city was raised, there was a whole sub city underneath the Chicago we know right now,
Mm,
and there's probably much more than Lower Wacker Drive, is what I'm trying to get at.
that's
Wow.
interesting.
Because they also had to dig down to the bedrock, because this whole place is all swampland. It's all clay, and like
Oh,
you can still dig up onions here in like the suburbs. Like if you dig down far enough, there's onion buds. But
oh wow.
yeah, yeah, right here in Niles, like you're able to. But the when they dug down to the bedrock, the workers, some of them, because they went down so far below uh, surface level, they got what was called the spins, and that's when you start like bleeding out of your orifices.
Oh,
And
yikes.
I would never want to experience that, but
Yeah,
that has
no.
to do with the air pressure. Like you get down far enough, and like the air is just pushing down. It's like you're getting squeezed.
Right.
Wow.
Kind of like in the ocean.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly. Oh, and they reversed the flow of the river too. So
What?
That's wild.
the the Chicago River used to flow into the suburbs and actually come past me here, the North Branch Chicago River. But because of all the pollution, they decided to just reverse the flow so that everything would go out into Lake Michigan.
Oh wow.
And they dredged the river to do that. So they basically scraped the bottom of it so the water would flow the other way.
Wow.
The things they do. I was watching something today. The guy who puts out content, and speaking of underground bunkers, someone during the Bush era, I don't know if it was the first or the second Bush, but they said that they spent, I don't know how, I think he said 21 million or billion dollars building a underground, like a city. And it was in case, something apocalyptic happened. And I was like, what? Okay, that's kind of creepy. But supposedly it was just for the elite.
Wow.
They're trying
It
to hide.
I'll share it with you, Jesse. I'll find it and I'll send it to you so you can see it.
All right. They're trying to hide and trying to take all the food, all the good food. They're
Oh,
leaving
so
All the
good
behind all the
idea.
non
bad food.
So
all the
like
non-poisoned.
last year, I went to North Carolina from Illinois, and so we went through like West Virginia and some of the mountains over there. And so we went through one of the tunnels for the roads. Those tunnels are they're big. They make me a little claustrophobic, but they do have like the tiling along the sides and the top, and it's just kind of like a half circle. But like if they can do that, they can do a lot more than just simple tunneling for roads. And they were also on like you drive through certain parts of these states and they have just giant rock walls on each side. Like they just cut through the like certain formations to make the roads. But now they're also taking down like the entire portions of like these rock protrusions to like flatten it or get the minerals or something. But I saw a lot of that going on too. So there, if you want to compare it to like possibly the Grand Canyon used to have a lot more in it than what's there now. It could have been. Um, there was this whole thing. I forget the name of it, but well over 100 years ago, they were using like water hoses to get all of these um, to get minerals out of the ground. But what they'd eventually do is start making these giant quarries because of it.
Mm,
And The Grand
Funny you
Canyon could be
mentioned
a giant quarry for all we know.
funny that you mentioned that. I just saw that today on YouTube where they were showing how the old mines looked like, and then they compared it to the Grand Canyon. And they're saying, could it have been mines? That's so funny that you mentioned that.
Yeah, I mean
And
that's
they
something
look
that's
the
been on my
same.
mind recently.
Yeah, they look the same. So
Oh wow.
maybe is that why maybe they're not people are not allowed in certain areas?
Yeah, there's also like like passageways, entryways,
Hmm.
with doors and stuff.
Yeah, the
There
natives
was
say.
yeah, like there was a YouTuber that he recently passed away actually, but he was going to the Grand Canyon. He found a place on a map and then he's like, I'm gonna go find it. And it was like this little structure on top of this really high cliff, but it was like stones all set around like it was a little fortress. There were bigger stones on the bottom and like smaller stones as you got higher up. But it was like somebody built this thing in the middle of nowhere on top of this cliff.
Oh,
And
Wow.
there's no signage to say what it is. And it is in an off limits area. So like the guy kind of could have gotten in trouble. But if you don't have
yeah,
park rangers in the area, like you know how massive this place is, like the Grand Canyon's
right.
huge. You can't have
Yeah,
everyone everywhere all at once. But
I
they,
know.
it's kind of it's a gold mine of mysteries, I'd say.
I know that I know that there's a tribe that is allowed in certain areas, and I've heard one of them say that there are caves, and there nobody's allowed to go in there. Those are the prohibited areas. But since there are natives that are around, those specific ones are allowed there.
Matt Perry says some say it leads to other continents.
Interesting,
I wouldn't be surprised by that.
right? Well, and when you think about it, all the continents were stuck together at one point,
Pangea.
you know? Yeah. So,
Yeah, there was I don't know, since we're talking about like geological stuff right now, about 112 years ago, 1913, around 1913, there was a total solar eclipse like last year in 2024.
mm,
And like 6 months after that eclipse, there were massive earthquakes that happened in the Midwest region that actually it stopped the flow of the Mississippi River for a significant amount of time, like I would say hours.
oh,
It just
wow.
stopped flowing, and then it eventually flowed again. But there were so many earthquakes during that time that it caused that river to reverse flow. It's like, where's all that water going? I wonder, like, if an earthquake happens underneath a river, does it just like take all that water, and where does that water go?
Exactly. Where does it go?
And also,
Uh,
like, I saw like a spring coming out of a rock, like
Oh,
some clip on Twitter just the other day. Yeah,
yeah, me too. Water was just coming out of it.
this is crystal clear. Yeah,
yeah, I saw a video of water coming out of a hole in the desert.
Yeah, there's natural springs. But that rock one was wild. It was kind of like the biblical rock. There was a big split in it, and the water was just pouring out.
Yeah,
That's
just
crazy.
really fascinating.
Right. There's just it's everything's gonna come into the light. You know, nothing can stay hidden forever, and now especially with um, the internet, and you can go down a rabbit hole really quick.
Yeah, yeah.
160 years ago, it took months to get information to
I know
persons.
Right?
what
Like,
you do have a
Pardon me?
computer at your fingertips.
yeah. Well, think of this, because like I've researched the Civil War quite a bit. There was
Mm,
there was a letter from like down south that needed to make it up to the north, and it took like 2 to 3 months to get there, and then it didn't even get delivered, and it was supposed to be like a ceasefire type of deal. You give this letter, and the only way you can get it anywhere was by horse.
right.
Like today, we have this. We could just send a message right away, and it's no problem.
Mm.
But it's unfortunate that like that's how it was back then. But then we
Yeah,
see
you
all,
wanted.
like Egyptian hieroglyphics that it looks like they're holding light bulbs and stuff, and they had free energy running around. Like who knows what kind of telecommunications they had at the time too.
Have you seen the new evidence of the underneath the pyramids that they found? There's big columns that they're standing on.
Oh wow.
It's wild. And
Tom's
there's,
comment is real good. Thank you.
yeah, they literally have like spirals around them. So they're saying that they're sitting on top of it. So it's not didn't just stop. That's why the people are not allowed to go past a certain area because they've hidden all this information. So it
Yeah,
had to have been water. But why did they tip the why did they have gold cap? Gold has a lot to do with frequency.
yeah. There was a rabbit hole I was going down with the pyramids that they were at. The pyramid of Giza, the biggest one, was
Yes.
constructed to make monoatomic gold, which is basically like a white gold powder, and that
Mm.
the Egyptians ingested that to eat for curing all ailments and actually prolonging their lives. Now, I don't know if any of that's true, but I thought that was pretty fascinating too.
Mm.
That's
Where if it's
something,
like
man.
harnessing the sun energy, and that's somehow restructuring the gold inside all the chambers, if they like have it sitting in the middle. I don't know,
Mm.
but yeah,
Well, they wondered. Uh, they keep so much information away from us. You know, it's really crazy. And if you just happen to hop down a rabbit hole and just keep going from there, and the information that you find is really scary. You know, the weird thing is, so many people don't believe in evil. They don't believe in a creator. They don't believe in demons, and they really don't know who runs this world. And everything that is being exposed right now is proving it more and more
Yep, yep.
that the the people that own everything are the ones running the world. They're not good people. Like the Rockefellers, their their lineage is creepy.
They are reptilians.
Uh,
Might be.
something to, I can't remember exactly what I read, but it's something to do. It's
The
I think it's a
Anunnaki.
dragon.
What happened?
Hmm.
Hey, cousin, what happened?
Nothing, man. I'm just
I
doing
don't, I don't
looking at
see,
some.
I don't see Cynthia or
I
There's
got
just a
you.
big E.
Mr. Biggie for stop it.
Stop.
There we go.
Stop.
She's in my room, Gilbert. Don't you hear her banging on the door trying to get out?
Weta.
Yep. Been banging on the door for about what? An hour and 35 minutes now?
I was telling Jesse that I haven't experienced since my mom passed away. I hadn't experienced um, shadow entities, so it's been a long time since I stopped experiencing them, and um, I had an odd thing happen at my house before, but here where I'm staying at right now, I kept seeing something walk by out of the corner of my eye, and because I leave my bedroom door open, and I kept seeing something go by, and I just ignore it now because I'm used to seeing things. So I just ignore it and pray. And didn't know her on Easter. She was going to her grandparents' house, and she said, "Oh, should I take my grandparent? Should I take my grandpa's ashes to his house because that's where he wanted to be?" And I said, "What?" And she goes, "Yeah, I have my grandpa's ashes in the hallway." I go, "Oh my God. Okay, that explains everything." I kept seeing something going to the hallway towards the bathroom. And that's where I kept seeing it. And then I would see something go past my door into the kitchen. And I was like, that is so bizarre. And when she took the ashes, I told her, if that's where he wanted to be, you need to honor his last wishes. You know, put him in his house with your grandma's ashes as well, so they can, sit together because they didn't have any stipulations as to what to do with the ashes. He just wanted to be there in his house. So she took him, and I haven't seen anything. So I'm like kind of curious about that.
That's weird. Maybe that's all he wanted was to be with her.
That's what it sounds like to me.
I don't know. I'm, everything confuses me now since, you know, I was brought up uh, in the Jehovah's Witness faith, and their beliefs, like, are there are no spirits. There's just demons, and you have to be very wary about them because they the devil knows us as much as God does because he was there, and he's here now. So that's why I was told you should never have fear. The only thing that you should fear is God. So, and it says that over and over in the Bible, have no fear, because they know what scares you the most. So we shouldn't fear because they do feed off your energy.
Wait. Y decir para afuera. Sí, vamos para afuera, pues. Oh,
He keeps Jesse on his toes.
God.
So what do you think, Abe? Like, I wanted to ask you what, like, I'm kind of confused about that. Like, since the ashes are gone, I'm not seeing anything anymore.
The what is gone?
The ashes.
The acid. Well, you know, drugs
He was
can cause
cremated, and his
hallucinations.
ashes were here.
Oh yeah.
No, not acid.
Oh, the ashes.
His ashes. Yes. Sorry.
Yeah.
Ceniza.
Well, yeah. It's still his remains. You know, it's kind of like going to a thrift store buying somebody's picture frame, somebody's something that belonged to somebody and might have attachment on it. You know, for the spirit that it belonged to. Uh, just like ceniza's ashes. You know, they get cremated. It could have you know, the spirit's still there or lingering. Uh, but yeah, things can manifest from objects. The thing is about these things, they know what's in your mind. They know what you're thinking, so that's how they manifest. They know if you believe in UFOs. They know you believe in Bigfoot, Dogman. They know exactly because a spirit knows a spirit. So that's how they're kind of like, I'm not going to say mind readers, but
Right.
I'll
Right.
say spirit knows a spirit. The spirit knows what's in your thoughts. So when
Yes.
you hear that voice come to your ear sometimes and say something to you, and it's not good, you type on your Rick in Jesus Christ's name, or he shows you an image of something happening to somebody, like a car accident, somebody in the hospital. You type on and repeat that, and you pray for that individual for nothing to happen to them or to keep them in prayer so their health will be good. Because sometimes what it is there's unseen forces that are around us that you're actually seeing what their intent is towards people. So
Mm,
they indirectly are telling you what they're going to do, and it's like a test to see what you're going to do if you're going to act to it. You know, there's a lot of people that they consider that a dream and they'll do nothing about it. They'll wake up,
right.
they see somebody that might know in a car accident in the dream, and they're going to say, "Oh, it's just a dream," and then they go back to sleep. Next thing you know, they wake up in the morning and they find out that that person that they dreamt about is dead because they got involved in a car accident. Sometimes things are shown to you that way, so you can go into prayer and pray for them, so nothing could happen to them. You know, it's just being shown to you. That's happened to me
Okay.
a couple of times where I didn't react to it, where I seen an image or something, and at that time I wouldn't say I tie bind and rebuke you in Jesus Christ. I was still in the military, so my mind was still like military wise, you know, like the training and everything I would do. But then I knew what to do, you know, when I lost somebody, because I didn't say I tie bind and rebuke of what I seen. Not even 12 hours from what I seen, and I was awake. I wasn't asleep. What I seen an image of something. Following day, it was too late. You know, so all I'm saying to whoever's viewing, if you see something, type under rebuke in Jesus Christ name. Normally, it's that attachment, you know, the negative attachment, unseen force that's on the individual, or that is showing you something that's part of the balance, but it's to see what you're going to do if you're going to react to what
Mm,
they're trying to do. It's kind of like I'm not going to say it's a spiritual challenge, but I'll just say is to see if you're going to do what you're supposed to do as a person with a love foundation, right? Like brother Stephen said, when we're born, we're like angels, you know, where the veil is lifted. Well, that's same way spiritually. The veil, you know, as you get older and you start awakening, the veil starts lifting again, and that's when you
mm,
know what to do when a situation like that happens.
right.
What do you think about that, brother Stephen?
I agree with that completely. I'm anticipating that I'm probably going to be experiencing some supernatural things happening in the next years ahead because I'm honing in, I'm finding my center and everything. Like I got rid of a lot of my vices
Mm,
and yeah, being more connected to source creator, father, whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
It's very I don't know, it feels like it's looming like like I'm on a mission. I'm ready to receive and experience more, but it's also there's a possibility that it can be daunting. But right now it doesn't feel like that.
mm,
But I do feel myself like elevating in a way to higher consciousness. Like I'm much more mindful of things that I do. And like you mentioned, Dave, there's um, there's a lot of even people, but also entities that are trying to get reaction from you. So the non-reaction is the best way to approach that, especially if you don't know what you're dealing with.
You put it to the test, brothers and sisters. Doesn't matter what you're seeing. If you're seeing a Bigfoot, a dogman, a mothman, a hellhound, whatever you're seeing, a UFO, a whatever you can think of, right? Siren, a pixie, a leprechaun, whatever manifestation they take, because they can mimic just about anything. You put it to
right.
the test. Spiritual test. The spiritual test you put it on is I tie binary rebuke you in Jesus Christ's name. If that UFO disappears in thin air and you don't see it going out into the atmosphere, then you already know what you were dealing with, especially if it leaves a stench of sulfur or pestilence. That means that it was something demonic that took the manifestation of a UFO, or if it was a mothman or whatever. I've, I've done that to a dog man, a Bigfoot, a shadow figure, and they disappeared and lived either a pestilence smell or a sulfuric smell.
Mm,
But I put the spirit to the test. I tie bind and rebuke it in Jesus Christ's name. They normally flee, especially when you're doing it out of a love foundation and in true faith. They disappear and they go off because you put it
right.
to the test. It's testing you, so you're testing it back. Like I tie bind and rebuke in Jesus Christ's name. So if anybody ever sees anything ordinary, put it to the test. Don't believe in what you're seeing, but put it to the test. Uh, and the test is tie bind and rebuking it in Jesus Christ's name.
A spiritual test.
Trust me, you'll see. You'll see. Then you'll know if it's something real or if it's something that's from that other realm, right? The DDN realm. If it vanishes, then you already know because you say, I tied bind and rebuke in Jesus Christ's name. If it disappears,
Right,
takes off, like it just disappears in thin air because you already know what it is, something that's infiltrating because he wants you to believe. That's the word, the key word. He wants you to believe in it because that's a door
right,
it uses to attack or to bond.
right, right.
I'll be right back, brothers and sisters. I'll leave the floor to y'all again.
Okay.
I'll let a brother Matt speak on that, and whoever wants to speak on that or whatever y'all want to speak on.
Thank you.
Go.
Well, everybody knows, or if you don't know, I've been able to see things since I was little. I was about 4 or 5 when I first saw an entity, and it was in the shape of a man, but he wouldn't let me see all of him. He would, when you pass by a doorway and you just catch a glimpse of, like, if they turn their face, you could see their face, but you can't see the rest of their body. You just see
Oh
the
wow.
half of them. So I used to
Dog-
see a man. I used to see a man like that pass by, but it wasn't a man. It was in a man form, but I felt that, and I could see it. it was very evil looking. It looked like a demon, and it would smile at me. And as soon as it would smile, it would just like poof, just disappear. And the first time I saw that, I screamed and I called for my dad. And my dad used to sleep with a gun under his pillow because it was where we lived. It was very, very rural. It was literally like a native reservation because it was made up of Yaqui natives, and most of them were, they are from Mexico, so they speak Spanish also. So I would see that, and then I started seeing shadow people, and I was little, but I was always the type of kid who was, uh, since my dad and my mom, they taught me not to be afraid. I wasn't afraid. I was more curious. What is that?
You know,
I wasn't.
th-
They never hurt me. They never touched me. They would just stare at. And one would kneel down, and kind of like when you, kind of like when you're kneeling down. You know what I'm talking about, Jesse? When how the cholos sit
Yeah,
when
yeah,
they
yeah.
kneel, when they're kneeling,
Mm,
but they have their hands on their knees.
yep, yep. I know the exact
Yeah,
way.
and it would sit there out out of my room when we had the two-bedroom growing up, and if you looked out of my room, you could see into the dining room. And when I would see, I would just wake up because I would feel something looking at me. And I would look and it was there. And I would look at it and it would look at me. And if I would move my head, it would move, it would follow my motion of my vision. So I guess it was trying to tell me, I see you looking at,
it's
you
something with the
know.
eyes too. Yeah.
They didn't have any eyes. It was just, I've never seen one with red eyes, with any eyes at all. I just all black, like blacker than black, you know.
I'm
And
wondering if our eyes have certain like energy uh, that it puts out that these entities thrive off of. There's also like the fear that they thrive off of, and I know
yeah, yeah,
some people call that loosh. Like it's like manufactured fear energy so that they can harvest it off of you if you get scared.
right, right. But I wasn't afraid. That's the funny thing. And maybe that's why they didn't hurt me or they couldn't touch me because I wasn't afraid. I would just look at it. And then my mom always taught me to pray and say Jesus' name and then to be brave because she didn't tell me, growing up that she saw them there or she saw things. She never told me until I was older and like, um, we got really, really close the last 3 years of her life. And I just started talking to her and asking her questions. Because I remember coming home one day from school and I was calling her name and I thought, well, maybe she's out back. So I went out towards the back because our back door faced west. And we used to have a clothesline because she liked to put her sheets in the sun. She said, it kills germs 100%, you know. So my dad had her clothesline out there. And when I went to the window, I turned and I looked at her and she smiled at me at first. And I said, hey, mom. And then all of a sudden I saw her look away, like, because there was the porch. But you know the big beams that hold the porch up. I saw her look towards one of the beams, and then she fainted. And I was like, "Oh my god!" And I ran out the back. I opened the door, and I just the door flung the door open, and I ran over to her, and I told her, "Mom, what happened? Are you okay?" And she was crying, and I'm like, "What's wrong?" And I saw she had her scraped her hands, on the ground, and she said, "I'm okay, I'm okay." And I helped her get up because I was a teen, and I think I was like 13, 14, and I helped her finish. I just took her inside and I finished hanging up her sheet. Well, she never told me what was wrong, but years and years later, I had asked her, Mom, did you ever see anything weird in the house, or did you ever have like creepy experiences? And she said, Yes. And I was like, What? Why didn't you tell me? She goes, Because I didn't want to scare you, because we're not supposed to be afraid of things. And she told me that that day that happened, when she saw me step up, into the window and say hi, she smiled, and she said she was happy because I made it home safe, because I walked from a far distance uh, to the house. And she said all of a sudden she saw a really tall Native American looking man standing there, and he had his hand, one of his hands, he was leaning on the pole. Well, he was leaning on the wooden, you know, beam, and he had his legs crossed. And she said he looked at me, and he looked at her, and his face changed into like a demonic, and he smiled. And she said she felt like he was going to hurt me. So from that fear, she fainted. She fell to the ground. And I told her, Oh my God, Mom, why didn't you tell me? She's like, I didn't want to scare you. But she said that she used to have something that would walk into her room up to her face in bed when my dad was gone to work already in the morning. And it would bend down and breathe really heavily in her ear. And she said that she didn't want to be afraid, that she would turn over and she would start praying. And then when she gathered up her strength, she would turn around and it was gone. So we've had shadow entities in that home. And that's where I saw the Hat Man as well when I was 13.
Like
And
so,
it's so weird.
I've heard a lot about the Hat Man. Yeah.
Yeah, this one, it was really really tall. Our house was, the my dad built the foundation really deep, so our house was literally, it sat above, so if it rained it wouldn't get flooded, because we lived in an area where it was kind of on a hill, so all the rain would come down, and so my dad built the house to be raised above the ground. So you had to step up into the house. So on the other side of the house, where the dining room was, it faced north, and that was our dining room window. And if you were outside, you would be shorter than if you were inside, you know. And this thing was as tall as the window. So it was really tall. I remember I was 13 at the time too. I don't know why things affect you as a teen. Like a lot of people see things when they're at that age. I've noticed that. And um, but my cousin was staying with us, and it was my cousin, my sister, and I. And my sister walked out first, then my cousin, and then I did. But when my sister reached a certain area, I guess she looked out the window and she screamed. And then my cousin saw it and screamed. And when I walked out, I screamed because they were screaming. But when I looked out the window, I could see that really big shadow entity, and it was wearing like a trench coat and a hat.
Hmm.
But the hat kind of looked like um, the one that Indiana Jones wears
Yeah.
in the Temple of Doom, but it had a little bit broader of a brim. And I saw no facial features whatsoever, but I could make out the hat and the coat, which was so bizarre to me. And it was dark. It was nighttime. And where I live, they used to call my neighborhood dark shadows. The dark shadows. Every little, because I lived in a little tiny town, and there was 4 areas. That 1, 2, 3, 4. Now there was 4 areas, and every neighborhood had a different name, nickname. And my area was called Dark Shadow. And I asked one of the girls that grew up there, because my family wasn't from there. My family was from another city. My mom and my dad were from another city, but my aunt moved there because her husband was from there. So my mom bought the lot that was for sale next door to her. And at that time, there was no street lights down that street. And it was a dirt road. And I noticed, I didn't really figure it out till I was older and I started talking to people because I wasn't allowed to hang out with everybody. And they said, "Oh, you live in Dark Shadows?" I was like, "Dark Shadows?" And they said, "Yeah, that area is called Dark Shadows. Nobody goes through there at night because it's creepy. You see things." And I remember my mom telling me not to come after 12 because there was a motorcycle. My dad ended up paying for a light post to be put right in front of our yard at the corner, like in between our lot and my aunt's lot. There was a big light post, so he paid to have that one done. And so it wasn't dark as dark anymore, but it was really, really dark in that area. Like if you would walk outside, you really couldn't see anything. If you walked into the desert, it's black, pitch black. You can't see your hands. But she used to tell me, don't come in after 12 at night because there's some things that, you really don't want to see. And I would ask her, what? She's like, just listen to me and don't come home after 12. And I remember um, they used to tell me that there was a motorcycle, like a ghost motorcycle, that would sit underneath our street light and just idle there. There's no rider, just the motorcycle. And then it would disappear. So I I remember one time I could hear a motorcycle, but I couldn't see a motorcycle. And I'm like, where's that from? Because there wasn't our lots on that in that neighborhood. They were called Los Ranchitos, which means the little ranches, because everybody's lot was half an acre or more. They were like little ranches, and it was so rural. You could have animals. If you had a big acreage, you could have horse or whatever. But there was some really, really creepy things in that town, and the town is known to have a lot of brujeria, witchcraft, and witches there. And everybody knows which house is whose, but since they're like basically all related, nobody says anything, you know, but they know who the witches are. They'll say, "Ooh, don't go over there. Don't. That's that bruja. There's a witch that lives there. Don't mess with her." But I knew the lady across the street. She was very old, and she was a bruja. And her grandkids were my best friends growing up, you know, and they would come. He's still my friend to this day, and he would say, "Hey, my grandma makes the broom jump around the house, around the kitchen." And I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, my grandma makes the broom hop all around the kitchen," and he would laugh. It was funny to them. And I was like, "What?" Oh no. I told my mom, and she goes, "Yeah, you're not to go over there." So I wasn't really allowed to go over there.
How you doing, King
but
Dimples?
but she was able to shapeshift. And Jessie, that's
Yeah.
the one that I said that she's a bruja, but she would turn into a lechuza.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And that's my dad used to have a gun collection, and he had a 30-odd stick with the scope. And one time there was a big commotion next door at my aunt's house, and the sound those things make. And I could hear it screeching, but you couldn't see it because it was high up. And my dad was like, "Go inside, go inside," because we all ran out there because my aunt lived next door, and my aunt came outside too. And I don't know what was really going on, but because I was little, but I just remember that my dad ran inside and he said, "Everybody get inside." And he's like, "I'm tired of this shit. This shit's gonna stop." That's all I remember. And when we went inside. We were looking out the window, and I saw my dad looking up in the air. And my dad, he could have been a marksman. He was that good of a shot. And all of a sudden, I heard him shoot something, and I heard a really creepy scream and screech and like yelled. And then he came running inside. And my dad wasn't afraid of anything. That's what I'll never forget that. That's the only time I've seen my dad run from anything. And he ran inside and he was sweating and like, he was like, "Stay inside. I don't want you guys, don't you dare go outside." And I was like, "What did you shoot, Dad? What did you shoot?" He goes, "Oh, nothing. There's just a bunch of," I think he said there was a bunch of bats now that I remember. It's just a bunch of bats because there was always bats next door to at my aunt's house coming from that lady's.
Hey,
But
they want to. I'm sorry, Cynthia. They want you to repost the link because Sailor Nemesis wants to come on.
So the nemesis.
Continue, Cynthia.
so I remember my friend coming by, and he's like, "Yeah, my grandma, something happened to her leg." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, my something happened to my grandma's leg the other night." And I was like, "Oh." He's like, "It's pretty bad." And the next thing I know, um, she had to get her leg amputated,
Your dad shot
and
her leg off.
he shot her in the leg. Yeah, and she ended up getting it cut off because I guess it got infected. I don't know, because my dad was very very spiritual himself, and um, then she didn't last very long after that. She ended up dying. So I never made that connection until like a few years ago. When I started researching and reading a lot about the lechuzas and the brujas.
Huh? That's what Abe used to do to the lechuzas at his house, but he hit them with rocks. And they'd be on
I know.
crutches and wheelchairs.
Yeah, they would come every
I
Saturday night
remember.
on the day of the Sabbath, Saturdays. They'll
Oh
come every
wow.
Saturday night. I'll be outside. I will make the whistle this time because last time I made a whistle sound, people got, I guess the demons come out of people all of a sudden, started trying to attack me and stuff. But yeah, they will come. First will be one, and this the lechuzas, they're pitch black, like midnight black. So the only thing you
Yeah.
can really see is the eyes because they're pitch black, but you can see them flying around because they give themselves away when they're making the screeching sound, like it's like a
Yes.
screeching sound, right? And they're hovering, and then I'm looking around because when they're normally do the screeching sound, there's another one somewhere. Like it's calling another one. As you know, here comes another one. You can see it flying from
Ew.
a distance. They
It's
start
like
circling
train wheels.
around, and then they're still making screeching sounds. Next to you, there's another one that comes out of nowhere. There's three. They keep on making the screeching sound. Then there's four, and then they start coming down. It's like when I see them start coming down from the sky. I said, "Oh
Mm.
shoot, they're here!" So when we talk
That
about
does.
Saturday night main events, well, we're having Saturday night main events then, you know, where they
Thank you,
will land on the
Maddie.
trees. I'm already inside the house, locked the doors, every window. It was like every Saturday night, the same thing. We had the palms crosses on the windows that were blessed by the priest. Even the priest
Mm.
came to bless the home. So we got all the windows with those Palm Sunday crosses in each window, and some of them are blessed sticks and stuff like that, like Palo Santo. And here
Okay.
they come. It's like we're there, and all of a sudden you start hearing them. Like they're whispering. Then you hear
Yes.
their talons,
Don't mind me.
and then they start making a laughing sound and laughs just like women.
Yes. But a
Then you start
creepy
hearing
laugh.
tapping sounds on the windows. Then you start hearing knocking
Oh.
sounds, and then you don't hear nothing for a little bit, like little silence, and then it's like, I think they're gone, and then you hear them laughing again, and then you hear banging sounds on the windows, banging sounds on the doors, wiggling of the doors, and it's like everything
Yes.
starts happening simultaneously.
Yes.
Our house was on pillars, so you
Sounds
hear the banging underneath your feet
I just got a flashback.
Oh.
because it's made out of wood, right? So you can stand in one section. Boom, something's
Yes.
hitting you from underneath hard. So you move to another section of the house, and wherever you move, something's hitting. It's the hitting you underneath your feet. So you get the tapping, the laughing of the everything happening at once. Then you hear
Chaos.
little kids laughing, running around the house laughing.
Oh.
So you get the witches, the noises, everything's happening like at once. and we're praying. My mother's praying, and then you start hearing somebody running on top of the roof, back and forth on top of the
Oh,
roof, and then you start hearing from the last room something running from the last room all the way to the room we're in. You can hear the where it's running towards us, and we're praying. Next thing you know, you start seeing dishes flying around, breaking in the kitchen. It's like every
wow.
Saturday, my mom was always getting dishes because every Saturday they would get broken dishes, glass. That would happen every Saturday. It's like simultaneously, and when everything would stop, is when my father would get there. He would because he'd be at the church. When he get there, like all the stuff that was happening would stop. You know,
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
I've battled those brujas, those witches, lechuzas, since I was 3 or even younger. I'll say 3 all the way till no, I still fight, but when at that house, it was till I was 11. I was already a pitcher in little league, left-handed. So I told my mother, you know what? I'm not afraid of them no more, Mom. I said I'm gonna go out there, gonna leave the light on, and I'm gonna throw some rocks at them, you know, because they will go sit on the trees. You could see how big they were. They were huge, sitting on the tree, huge. Just the dark lechuza on the tree. I
Uh,
would hit them with, which is called caliche in Spanish, and had good aim, and you could hear where the rocks would hit them. You could hear a thud. You could hear like it would echo through the lechuza, and you hear like the lechuza, the witch, would be like, where I hit it hard. And it was always the one in the corner I could see the most. I was popping her, man, in the face, in the body, and it wouldn't fly away, until that one day my grandmother came outside and he's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm trying to get this brujas, lechuzas out of here." And she looked at me and she said, "You're not afraid of them?" And I said, "No, I'm not afraid of them." And I said, "Let's
oh,
stay right here." She went over there and she said something in a different language, right, to them, and they all flew away. I don't know what she said. And she came to me and she told me, tell your mom that I took care of it. And she went to her house because my grandmother lived right beside us. So next day, my grandmother tells me to go with her to the store. So here I'm at HEB, you know, and she's getting her little Texan juices because she's getting juices and stuff. Then I see a old lady looking at me real ugly. She's looking at me real ugly. And I look at her, she's all bandaged up and stuff. And I look at her like, wait a moment. She just mad dogging me. She's got a big black eye in the eye. It's all everywhere where she's bruised up. That's where I was hit it with a caliche with the rocks.
the
All banged
rocks.
up from a right side. So I said, you're the one that was on the tree. And she was just looking at me ugly, man. But I could identify because where I was hitting that the lechuza was on the right side. So this lady was all banged up from the right side. She was like an old lady
That-
too, like 80 something years
That's
old,
what
man.
she gets.
Banged up. Like
That's what she
dark,
gets.
dark purple, like purple rain before he was even created. Prince hadn't even thought about the song.
Hey,
Purple
Oh my
rain.
gosh.
hey, cousin, you know what, man? I just had a flashback of a memory I had repressed from your house, man. I remember it was a Saturday night and I got home early and I went to get something out of your brother's room, man. Then all of a sudden, the handle of the door outside it was wiggling, and then it's like they were trying to pull it open, and then the screen flew open, and then they were trying to open the inside door, man. And I was standing there watching the door go like this, go like that, and it was traumatic, man. I blocked it out. It wasn't until you said that I got a flashback of that, man. I was standing right there at the door with my hand like this, saying, "If you come in, I'm gonna knock you out."
That old lady
So
was
you,
banged up at the HEB, bro. You know, and not to be a mean little kid, but you got a memory of what you went through, right? So, so you're the witch, and I started laughing at
Right.
her, bro. I was laughing at her, making fun of her. I
she'd hear
said,
the
"Don't
word
be,
bang
that's what you
open.
get. Don't be coming to my house." I was the type of kid that I would tell them straight up like that. My mom was in
Did
there.
you?
If I would have said that to her, my mom probably would have spanked me. But my mom was in there. It was my grandma. So I told her that don't be coming to my house or you get more of that, you know? She was all jacked up, man. She had those white bandages with you could see blood and bandages and stuff. Stitched, I think she was stitched up too, man. But yeah.
And then they would ask you, what happened last night? That little so and so jacked me up. Look at this.
So, so I got a message to Ortega. Dana, if you come as a lechusa, you get the same treatment as that old lady from back in the day. Don't be coming to my house in a shape of a lechusa because you're gonna get banged up. It's all being done, no.
we'll leave the wheelchair outside waiting for you.
So is that like a similar thing that the witches do that's also skinwalkers are able to do, where they
Yeah,
change and they also
Yes.
are able to be like,
it's kind of like the
I guess,
harpies,
transparent too, in a way?
harpies, Lilith. You know, that was a the beastly transformation that Gabriel was that of
The
Lilith,
harpy.
the harpy. Let me. I think I got something here. I don't know if I can share because already. Let me see. Yeah, like the harpy.
So the old woman you saw at HEB wasn't the manifestation you saw when you attacked it,
No,
right?
yeah, she
No.
was in
No, she was in human form.
human form, but the night before she was in the lechusa form.
Yeah,
I'll
I
give an
don't
ex-
like the.
I think I got a video here, an example of what a lechusa might look like because I caught it like right before it started getting dark. I don't know if you've seen. Did I share it with you, Missile, the big owl?
No, I don't think so.
Let me share it with you. I got it here on YouTube.
So you talking about the one with the big pecker?
Yeah,
Okay.
let me share it with them.
Maddie.
All I see is white, cousin.
Well, I'm not sharing it yet. I was just trying to find
Okay.
it first.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
If
Let
it's
me get
got
back to
music,
y'all.
remember. If it's got music, remember, mute the music.
Oh man, what did it
Look,
do here?
I'm gonna make a lechuza sound, Manny. Hooty hoo, hooty hoo.
I don't know what's going on here. I don't know why he took it there. Let me get out of there. Uh, okay, let me go back to y'all. Your stream. Let me share this.
$5. Shit, I want some change back on that King Deal.
Here you go. Here you go, brother.
My chat's frozen.
Can you see me?
No, I see the thing, but it's not moving. There you
Yeah, because
go.
I paused it. I was just trying to show him where it's at. I'll let
It's
it
right
play first.
here.
Do you see the sun was already setting? Uh, it's right here in this area, and it's pretty
Look at those
tall. I'm
eyes.
just
Look at
trying to
those eyes.
get you see how tall it is, man.
Yeah, you were
When they
looking at this
manifest
last night, right?
this DDN, they manifest they're tall, man. Look at that, and they blend in with Mother Nature itself pretty good. So I'm gonna show you the short reel I got where he's turning his head because I created a short reel of it. There it is.
Oh wow.
There it is, brother.
I see it right there. Right in the middle. Wow, that is big.
Like cousin Jizzy said, it's got a big pecker. So
Freaking Jesse.
look at that. It turns its head and looking at me.
See, like what would normally be like openings between the leaves and you see the sky on the other side. That's not what we're seeing here.
No, this is the
Where's
DDN manifestation, brother. That's how they
Mhm.
manifest, and it's turning his head,
You can see how tall it
yeah,
is.
Yeah.
The body's right there.
and this is just a close up
where's
of it.
you need to show the one where it's standing and you can
Look,
see its
it's
face in the tree too.
yeah, it's right here. It's standing sideways right here. Look, it's standing sideways right here. Standing right here, sideways.
Creepy.
You see the feet, the legs and everything, man. And
Yeah,
now
I
check it.
see.
It's gonna turn his head. See,
Wow.
it turns his head
Mm.
right there. It's turning. So here's the video, the original footage from when I recorded it. Is that it? What's going on?
It's wild how you catch so many things during the day. Like it's not normal.
I don't know why. There it is. Look at that. It turned his head right there already.
You know,
You
we
can
go
see it
back
turn.
to the underground tunnels and all of that, and if there were also magnetic ley lines made in a prior civilization, and that's why we have these anomalies in the ground, these like this place where
Mm,
Abel's just at could be one of those higher activity places where it happens day and night. So I wouldn't be surprised by that.
Ooh, there's a. I'm
right.
sorry, somebody else is here. Is this? Who is this?
My chat's frozen, so I can't see anything.
Who's SN? Sailor.
It's me.
There we
Hi,
go. I'm
Maddie.
sorry. I had forgotten about you that you said you wanted to be on here. Still busy
Yeah.
showing that. I'm sorry. And then I looked up there and I said, "Oh, I got five." And I said, "Wait a minute, I just got rid of the thing." How you doing tonight?
Good. How about you guys?
All
Good.
We're
righty.
doing well. We're doing well.
Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
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 All right. So I wanted to talk about the Marine Kingdom some, if I could, or if you guys would want to discuss that.
Go ahead.
Okay. So from what my note, I have my notes in my lap, so that's why I'm looking now. Um,
Well, I
I
don't see.
had heard an an interview with a she used to be a witch, this African woman, a high-ranking witch that worked with the spirits of the Marine Kingdom, and she said that the that she would be like the babysitter to the the sirens that they would send up to above water, and they would have bodies, like normal people, except they were always exceptionally beautiful. So she would the witch would take them out to different clubs, nightclubs or bars or wherever,
Whoa.
and these sirens would seduce men or women, and they would sleep with them in order to spiritually steal. So,
I'm
like one
sorry,
of the
my
things, what? Okay. So, one of the things that they would do is to, um, any sort of wealth, like financial like good standing that that man or woman had would automatically become that spirit somehow. And I can't remember what else. But when it comes to the male warlocks that work with the Marine Kingdom, they would go around sleeping with different women so that they could steal those women's destinies. So if they slept with 7 women, they'd have 7 different destinies they could pick and choose from, and those women would lose that blessing or whatever they were gonna have, and it would become that warlocks. And she also talked about there's inside of the Marine Kingdom there is a big, huge like crystal structure with a bunch of different compartments. And if you would go up to it, you could see people inside of them, but it was reflecting those people from the surface. So it was showing some of the people whose destinies had been stolen. Others were their little foot soldiers they had like moving around in the world. Celebrities, and that's another thing I was gonna say was that the Marine Kingdom is tied in heavily with the entertainment industry.
Yeah, well, they're all affiliated because of the harpies and the sirens.
Mhm.
They're they were created. They were turned that way because they slept with the Watchers. So they have they're like shapeshifters. And if you ever see a siren and a harpy, which is a lechusa, they will call themselves sisters because they're both have the same abilities. It's just one is on land and the other one's in water.
One thing
But
that
they can
I have
travel on
wanted,
land just like they can. The witches can travel in water. They can travel on land.
do you think
Yeah.
that they became the wives or the wives of those angels by their own choice?
No, they were deceived, I believe, right, cousin Jesse? There's women there because the Watchers they shapeshifted to look like men, so they kind
Mhm.
of
Oh,
tricked them.
they might not have known.
No, they might not have known, but they tricked them, and that's what their punishment was when they slept and they created the Nephilim. They when the Nephilim they gave birth to the Nephilim, they they changed manifestation. They changed from human to what a harpy or a siren would look like. Because some of the
Oh.
Watchers, some were from the ocean. I got I think some of the tablets that show the hieroglyphics. Some were look like fish, some
Hmm.
look like an eagle or like a bird, and then there's one that looks like a person also, but he's like a they have the abilities to manifest shapeshift.
So that gives me another question. How you said when they had the Nephilim children that the mother shapeshifted. Do you think they had to do that to stay alive to birth those Nephilim, those kids?
Oh, they had to have.
Yeah, I don't think a normal human body could take that on,
Yeah, I
especially if they
mean,
were giants from their birth.
I think that was kind of like how should I say? Yeah, it's like a man. That's what happened to Lilith in a sense of a way, right? Cousin, what's the story of Lilith? You know what
Yeah,
happened to
yeah.
her?
Yeah, she bore children with Satan and Abel. I mean Cain. So yeah.
She changed form because she didn't want to be equal to. I mean,
They want to be submissive to Adam.
submissive to Adam. So she changed That was she left the garden. God sent an angel to try to bring her back, and she didn't want to listen to God, so that was a
He
punishment. Uh,
he
she
killed 100 of her children daily.
but she changed form, and the form that she
She became
changed
demonic.
was that of a giant owl, which she's called
The mother of all
what?
monsters.
Yeah, the mother of all monsters.
So she was the first one.
Yes.
Yeah.
See, I had thought that after I thought God turned them into harpies and sirens as a punishment. So that's good
Well,
to
yeah,
good to
because he did
know.
sleep with them.
They good.
That's the manifestation that they took, kind of like what happened to Lilith.
Little called on the real name of God and sprouted wings and took off from the Garden of Eden. Then she was living with Satan, and then she started living with Cain. And she took a demonic form, which was the form of a fowl of the air.
Hmm, that's interesting. Didn't know
Tell her
that.
what she was doing, cousin, because Lilith, what she was doing to the children,
She
because
was she would attack women that were pregnant, and if a child was born stillbirth or had defects, it was because she ate some of it or killed it in the womb. And she would go after babies in the crib, and they came up with a talisman that they would put on pregnant women and on babies to keep Lilith away from them.
Why did she want to kill children?
Because the angel of God would come every day to try to get her to go back to Adam, and she would refuse. And the angels would kill 100 of her children daily.
so it was out of vengeance.
How'd she have 100 children daily?
She was demonic by that point.
Oh,
Like I said, she was having Satan's kids and Cain's kids. So yeah, says she's still alive, and so is Cain. But that's neither here nor there.
Makes me wonder about all of these shipwrecks
Mm-hmm.
and how all that came about or disappearing. I've covered a lot of stuff on the Bermuda Triangle where these ships have just disappeared with like hundreds of people on board. And there's also been like accounts of seeing things just manifest in front of the crew, like out in the middle of water at night. Can't
like
explain it.
what?
Anywhere from like lights
Hmm.
to just like the bearings on the compasses going all which way, them not knowing where they're at in the ocean, and then they eventually get lost at sea. But a lot of UFO encounters as well. Lights that are like zooming around, similar to what Abe said, and then it's like it's dropping out little scout ships, like drops of water from it. Bloop, bloop, bloop. So different stuff like that happening. I'm just all fascinated looking into that. I love hearing your stories about this too, because it's
Yeah,
like
I got
it's opening my
some
mind to
pictures
all these
here.
different things.
Hey, cousin,
Uh,
Cynthia wants to come back on.
okay, uh, tell her to try to come back on. I'll put on. Is that I was looking for something, but I found it.
Okay.
I was gonna
Okay.
share it, but tell her to click on it so I can add her. And I'm gonna share the amulets real quick
Okay.
of what the people wore when they had to do with Lilith. There you go.
Wow.
Is that supposed to be her?
Yeah, that's an amulet they used to use to ward her off.
Look
Why
at
would they
the
use
feet.
a picture of her? I mean, an image of her.
Yeah. I wouldn't know, man.
Is it Mesopotamia or something like that, cousin?
Yeah,
The time frame.
Are those
yeah, back
clawed
in
feet?
the Mesopotamian era.
Are those clawed feet there? It's like three toes.
Mm-hmm.
Just like the bird.
Uh, yeah, she got three toes,
And is
the
that
wing.
her head? Like, is that's
I want
not
to
a
get
head?
in depth with her in a moment. Let me go try to add Cynthia in. There
A
she is.
cone on her head. So
Uh,
she just killed children because she couldn't have any. She wasn't allowed to have any, basically.
No, she killed children because the angels were killing her children. She didn't want to go back to be with Adam. Is what they say is the story is.
there she is.
She didn't want to be subservient. She didn't want to be on the bottom.
Hello.
Well,
Uh,
Hello. Yeah.
I got a couple of more. I just don't know why
And
it's not letting me show everything. But let me show a couple of more. It's not letting me show all the pictures of her for some reason. That's her right there again. Uh, they will make little things of her. How she looked like she got feathers right there. Right, look at that.
mhm,
yeah.
Yeah.
mhm.
What
There
is
she
that
is right there.
circular thing?
Yeah, I was
Uh,
gonna mention that.
That
now pay attention.
circular thing.
Is that like similar
There
to
she-
the medical uh, double snake helix thing?
It kind of looks like a monk, except without the bottom, the handle part.
Oh, an ankh.
See,
Oh,
that's her
oh,
right there. Uh, Look at this. Doesn't it look like the one that was standing by the tree line?
Yeah, that little one
Yes.
right there. Yep,
Look at the
Yep.
Those are
legs.
owls, right? Are those
those are her.
Yeah.
owls?
Those are her
But
Yeah, they
children.
are.
but what
she's
are
bird
these? That's
feet.
what I'm trying to figure
Those look
out.
like lion heads to me. Yeah, they look like lion heads to me.
They call her the primordial she devil or screech owl. But that looks like the one that was standing. If that's tall, imagine how big she will be. If she's the monster of all monsters. Look at her
Probably
feet.
10 or 20 feet.
Okay,
Hmm.
here we go. Here's another one more.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
She's got the star. Is that a five-pointed star?
Yep. It
And the
looks like
moon?
it looks like a sun inside the moon.
Mm, that has a meaning, the crescent moon.
This looks
That
kind of
is a
like,
lion.
yeah,
I
That
think
looks
the
like
one.
a
the
dog.
two owls up here.
I think the
That's
one on
Yeah,
the.
that's what I was
On,
gonna say. The one on the left looks like, yeah, it looks like a wolf,
Yeah, it's definitely
wolf,
different.
and that's a lion on the other side.
There's a lion. There's like a wolf of some sort.
Yeah, a jackal maybe.
Let me see what else I got. That's the time frame when everything was happening with about Lilith. At this time frame,
Mesopotamia. Am I reading Mesopotamia?
yep, Mesopotamia.
Mm.
let me see what other images I
She's
got here.
she's very much in the Jewish lore.
Yeah. Why is she always naked? Put some
Yeah, that's what
feathers
I was
on.
gonna say. Jeez, no one's trying to see that.
She's in her beastly
She has
manifestation.
she has her wings.
Yeah, she slept with a lot of. I think it's all the same. Yeah, I was trying to get a close look at these little things, but we
What's she
know now that
standing
they're
on?
lions. That they're
Oh,
lions, right?
her feet look like owl's feet.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. This is the Apakulu, right? You see how it says Apakulu? Same thing as the water. People call the Anunnaki. Same thing,
That
but
looks
they're
like an
called
ant
Apakulu.
eater. That first one.
So so why are they all
Uh,
carrying bags?
This one is the one that I believe is like with the sirens because he's a fish. You see,
The bags might be a
Oh,
power source.
and they have the
this one
pine cones too.
is
They
is the
carry the
one that's
souls in the bag.
this is and they're from look from where the region. This one's from Syria. This one's from Iraq. Then this one's from
They're
Iraq.
Yes, they're all around the world, and even in India, they're carrying bags. So maybe it has something to do with their travel.
Yeah. They're
I
traveling up
thought
a
it would
cruise.
carry the souls.
It's I'm just showing
Idiots.
that this are the Apakulu, which is called
Handle the
they're the Watchers.
I
The
was
Watchers that slept with the women. These are the ones that created the
fish.
Nephilim
Oh, look,
right here,
fish skin cloak.
and they're the same ones that slept with a woman that the woman became either sirens like this one because he's a fish, and the other ones became harpies or lechusa, kind of because they all have wings. This one has wings and this one has wings, but this one
Yes.
is more human-like.
Yeah, that's strange.
there's a whole thing about the Baghdad battery, like something just a very ancient form of like an energy capsule, and that might be what they're holding here,
Oh,
but in a different
the
form, like not the crude one that we know of today, but
so you see, they all have pine cones too. So they were trying to say that that has something to do with the pineal gland.
Mm, 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 mm.
See that?
Well,
possibly there's also um it could be like levitation devices.
Mm.
why would they need a device?
Okay, they can't move the stones on their own.
Oh,
Exactly.
I thought you meant for flying.
No, 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 no. This is like for like moving objects around. So like they'd be holding it
Oh, yeah,
and going like that. At least that's what I'm assuming that's what it's for with everything I've looked into.
that's a good connection there.
Mm-hmm,
I
mm-hmm.
know when I was a kid, I thought because of that movie, The Prince of Egypt, I thought the Hebrew people had built all those Egyptian structures, and now as an adult, I'm like, there is no way in hell that those people move those stones like
Well,
that.
well, it wasn't
Well,
moved
they
with the
Yes,
power
and
plant.
even at
They were moved by the
Stonehenge
Nephilim. Most of
yeah,
the
because
famous
they
stuff
literally
is moved by
and
the Nephilim.
yeah, because they
the
literally
Easter Island heads look like Nephilim
but the
with
Egyptians,
their long skulls.
yeah, big heads. They
There's some
literally the
transport.
Egyptians.
Go ahead.
Sorry, the Egyptians have themselves sitting on top of giants in their hieroglyphs on the walls. On one of them, they have them, and they say that oh, they were just their gods. No, they were saying that they were sitting on top of them because they did call them gods, and they showed them really, really big, and they were sitting on their laps.
Well, I think that most of all the giants came from a place called Tartaria.
Oh, the Tartarian.
Yes, ma'am. Ooh, we're almost at the 3 hour mark, cousin.
Oh man, I thought it was only 2 hours.
Yeah, we're
But
two
y'all been
hours
carrying
and
the show because
49 minutes.
I've been going in and out all throughout the night. But y'all been doing carrying the show tonight. Tell you, man, we can have fun here. Open mic night, Tuesdays and Thursdays.
There you go.
Y'all can warm up your popcorn. Get the pickle or whatever. Have it there for the enjoy the show.
Right?
with this.
I don't know if anyone has ever. Go
No,
ahead, Abe.
go ahead.
If anyone's ever seen this video online, I think it's real. There's these two. I think they said that the men were two Russian soldiers, like, and they were out on a boat. I think it was a boat. It had to have been. Sorry. And it shows something's going on in the water. There's a camera, like a surveillance camera or something, recording this. Something's going on in the water, and so both of the men go over to the side of the boat so they can see. And all of a sudden, this black thing just comes up and grabs one of the men and starts dragging him into the water. And his shipmate like stumbles backwards and runs into the cabin. Well, a few seconds later, that same that black figure, it comes up out of the water and it follows that man into the ship cabin. And then a few seconds pass by and you see that same black figure now has a mortal looking body and shape, and it just walks away.
Hmm.
So I'm thinking they might have been docked somewhere, and that's where this happened. Like, because why would it just take off walking after that if it wasn't gonna, get off the boat? But I think it drained both of those men, and that's how it was able to get its, physical shape. But that was pretty frightening, to see that. And then there was another video. There's a couple videos from this young guy that had a boat, and he filmed just a whole bunch of like scary singing and screeching coming from all around his boat in the water. And then another video, he threw something over the side of the boat and it got thrown back at him. And then all of a sudden he started getting like pelted with different things that they were throwing at him. And some people had found out that wherever he docked his boat, he must have lived on it as well. And they said the men in black came, just walked onto his boat and were talking to him. And then a few days later, he had died in a terrible car accident. So, what do you guys think of that? Those two
I think the men in black did it
stories?
to keep him quiet.
Yeah, got mad at him.
Was the first one you said they were docked?
I think they had to have been. And it looked like there was ice, like shards of ice in the water. Because it dragged him and he was like trying to grab onto, like there was something. And that's why I say I think it was ice in the water, because he was trying to like claw his way back, but it was pulling him out. He didn't stand a chance.
Do you need another link, Cynthia?
Let me refresh the link and send her another one.
She's gotten on twice, man, but it's kicked her right up.
Yeah.
It's been doing
I
that to me
know.
tonight too. I just think it's the browser. I'm
Well, I have another story. I have another couple
I'm about to
stories.
read this.
Um,
Isle
what is
Royal
it?
Shipwrecks.
Isle Royal
It's up in the
Shipwrecks.
northern peninsula of Michigan, but you can't get there.
Okay.
You have to get there by boat. But I'll be reading this very soon. Go ahead. I just wanted to show that.
So this is another Russian story. Um, there was this Russian scientist that took a walk down the beach one day, and he said he saw a group of people like dancing together and singing on the shore. Well, he called out to them, and they turned and looked at him, and then they all took off running. Well, one of them, a woman, she was slower than all the rest, and he was able to tackle her to the ground and capture her, and he refused to let her go. Well, no, at first he said, "Well, if you'll answer my questions about you and your kind, then I'll let you go." And so she agreed, but he lied, and he told her that she was going to become his wife. But he had also taken the clothing that she had originally wore, he took it away from her and hid it somewhere. Well, they ended up having two children together. I don't know how long were married. But one day when she was home with the kids, she came across the box in the closet that had her original clothing in it. So she put it on and she took off towards the beach. And by the time that the father got home, the kids were crying, and he asked them where their mother was. And they said that she had gotten dressed and took off. And of course, like, he took off after her, but it was too late. She was long gone.
Hmm.
She said later.
I think I've heard that story before too.
Mhm.
Well, we're hitting the three
Uh,
hour marker, y'all. Golly, for a Tuesday,
Mm-hmm.
we came in with a banger. And
Mm-hmm.
again, I would like to apologize. I started the show, but I had to address some issues. These individuals talking badly about me and Brother Josh Turner, and a person that we had here
again?
that was affiliated with him. I've been giving the guy a chance maybe to change his ways and stuff like this for a while. I've been monitoring him, but I guess he's still affiliated with him. So I chose to not have him here no more because he don't need to be here if he's affiliated with those individuals that are making fun of me or Brother Josh Turner. It's crazy, but you know, I forget people daily. But yes, I have a story. So we're talking about this creatures from the ocean. My grandfather, he was at Port Mansfield. It's in South Texas. He was fishing out there. There was a bad storm. He was on his boat, uh, and the waves were so high that he flipped the boat over. When they flipped the boat over,
Oh, wow.
he was trading in water, and the waves were real, just falling on him. Boom, boom. It was like beating him up. Our grandfather was pretty tall, like 6 foot something, I believe. Grandpa Joe was pretty tall, and he was swimming in the water. And the next thing you know, in one of the waves, he heard his name being called, Jose. Somebody was calling his name, and when he looked, he seen his wife with her hands open like this on the wave, calling him to go to her, come with me. And the weird thing about that is that his wife had already been deceased for a lot of years. So it freaked him out that he started swimming away from whatever it was that took the manifestation of my grandmother. He started swimming away, and he kept on coming after him. He started getting close to him, and he was just swimming and swimming. He could see, I guess, the lights in the distance. So he swam all the way to shore. He got in his vehicle, and he freaking. How far is the port from to Reynoldsville? Like 30 something miles.
It's
40.
about 45 minutes.
Like 45 minutes. So he drove 45 minutes, right? He got to the house and he's laying down. He's laying down. He's spooked, and he fell asleep. Right. He said that when he woke up, that he was being drugged out the window, and it was that
What?
thing, but it wasn't in the manifestation of his wife anymore. It was showing its true form, which was like a siren form, and he was pulling him out the window, and he was fought against it. So for about 2 weeks, he kept on coming for him every night. That he kept his shotgun loaded right beside the bed because he kept on coming for him. This siren, kept on coming for him, trying to take him. But he made it inland, 45 minutes inland, because they have the ability to shapeshift. So they can shapeshift into anything to make it inland, to a deer, to a rabbit, to a seagull. And that's why I tell everybody that the sirens and the harpies, they consider themselves sisters.
I
Thank you for
haven't
coming on,
considered.
Cynthia.
My grandfather, after that, he never went fishing again, man.
I
He
remember,
left.
I
I remember
believe it.
grandma had a skin in between
Yeah,
her digits, man. She had skin in between her digits, so you never know. She might have been
She had webbed
yeah, she had web in
fingers.
between her fingers. Yeah,
Crazy.
she might have been a mermaid.
That opens up a whole other world for me. Thinking thinking about the sea-bound entities coming on the land. Oh, like I didn't even consider that.
well, think about it, brother. They're the same. They're shapeshifters. So the
Have a
the
good
ones that
read for King Devil.
the ones that are here on land, they can go to water. The ones on water, they can come to land.
And the same thing happens with the UFOs. They can go in the
Yeah,
water if they need to.
Mhm.
Except they're flying in the air too. But yeah.
they can fly. I mean, they can use the elements to manifest. But yeah, the whatever's in the ocean can come to land. Can look like you or me. Takes a manifestation, and you know they've been doing that for a long time. I mean,
We
the
had
harpies and sirens been here since a long time ago, right? When the Watchers slept with women, so they know just about every language.
they survived the flood because especially the sirens because
The
water
this
storms.
They said the Nephilim got destroyed, right? But yeah, the sirens had to survive the flood. But I don't know. All I know is that they're the sirens and the
Yeah,
and the sirens and the what do you call them? Ah, I've been
the
saying the
harpies.
name all night.
The
The
harpies.
Chusas, right? The harpies that they give birth to the Nephilim, and right now that's what I capture is the disembodied Nephilim, which is they don't have a body, so they're in spirit form. That's why I captured shadow figures. They are moving because that's what's left of the Nephilim. They have the ability still to shapeshift, but they're in disembodied form. But they can look real, just temporarily. Take a temporary manifestation. That's why you put it to the test. So I type binary rebuke in Jesus Christ's name. If it disappears, you already know. People call them demons, unclean spirits. That's some of the names that they give them, but they are the disembodied Nephilim. Just and one time I had one challenge me, and he told me, I'm talking about when I was growing up. He told me that when they passed by my house, they could have turned into any form they wanted to, and he started making different animal sounds coming out of his mouth. But I did not get scared because I know he wanted me to be afraid to try to attack. So what I did, I started praying against it, the Our Father, and he
Toma,
started moving real crazy.
estoy en
He
el
was
programa.
it's the man of the when he's trying to shapeshift, it was like it was moving real fast. You couldn't see its face, just like this, and
Almost like
started continuing with
vibrating.
the prayer, and he said, "I can win right now," but I couldn't see his face anymore because he was trying to shapeshift. And I said, "But it's going to be a day God is not going to be with you, and I'm going to be there." It took like 2 steps or 3 steps away from me. It just appeared in thin air. There was white smoke everywhere, and it smelled like sulfur. But it vanished. It vanished with a bike it had. But that's what they do. All I'm saying is don't be afraid of it. Uh, In all actuality, they're trying to deceive people because we have the opportunity, like uh, you said, that the veil is being lifted. So we have the opportunity to make it into the kingdom of heaven. Anything that's fallen can't make it back into the kingdom of heaven, and everything that wasn't created by God cannot make it into the kingdom of heaven, which includes the Nephilim, because it wasn't created by God; they were created by the Watchers. So they're not, they will never make it into the kingdom of heaven. So that's why their main mission here on earth is to try to deceive many people, to see how many souls they can deceive, of which they have the ability to possess. So when you see somebody,
I'll be right back, guys. My dogs are going
oh,
crazy.
yeah, every time I
I'll
talk
be right
about the
back.
topic, strange things happen. But yes, you just have to be spiritually aware of what that's what they do. Just roaming Earth, trying to see who they can mess with. If somebody's got an opening, they're going to try to take over that vessel. Since they don't got a body, right? Because their bodies got destroyed, they try to take our bodies through possession. So when you see somebody jumping off a bridge, getting in front of a vehicle, it could be possibly be that it's not the person, but that the Nephilim has taken over that vessel and it's eliminated the vessel.
I have a question for you.
Go ahead, brother.
Do you think
I'm getting a little bit deep in this, but
oh no, that's fine. Do you think this is the case for a majority of the Nephilim, that they're being here as a remnant, or is that just like a portion of them? And if so, is where are the rest of them at this point? That have either
uh,
been destroyed or pushed away from this interacting with us here?
uh, can you say that again, brother?
Uh, do you think that all of the Nephilim are still like among us, or is it just a few of them that are left?
Well, there were left here as in disembodied form. I mean, the Nephilim, they were created by the Watchers, who were angels, but since they went against God, they became demons. The Watchers, so they
So we
have
have nowhere else to go.
like half demons or whatever, right? The Nephilim are, but yeah, their punishment was their bodies got destroyed, but they roam Earth in disembodied form. That's what they do. So they do have the capabilities to possess people, attack people. So that's why we know them as demons now, because the Watchers, they're held captive right now. The Watchers, which was, you look into Greek mythology, Zeus and all those gods, they're held in captivity because they went against God, right?
Hmm.
Against the Heavenly Father. Those are the Watchers. They're held captive. So the only thing that we know as demons out here is the DDN, which is disembodied demonic Nephilim. They're the ones that are roaming Earth, causing the chaos, the havoc, the confusion. What do you think that our society that's affiliated with the Illuminati, the Masons, and all that they don't want people to believe in Jesus Christ? They don't want them to know exactly what to do. Like shows like this, I don't like because we're trying to awaken our brothers and sisters how to fight against them. That's why. What do you think? Our children are not being taught anything about God or Jesus Christ, and they took all that from the schools.
Hmm.
But it's up to us to teach our children, right? To prepare children to fight spiritually. I was
Now,
thinking about making the show even PG. So, but then sometimes I have to bite our tongue, and I don't want to get booted off. But yeah,
now they teach the children how to be uh, different genders. You're a boy and you feel like a girl. You're a girl and you feel like a boy. I mean, that's what they teach in school nowadays.
yeah, they're teaching everything to set up somebody for failure. Should I say their spiritual failure? Because it's not about the flesh; it's about the spirit. So they're teaching all the wrongs that were against in the commandments that were for us not to do. They're giving all the wrongs to trying to make them right. That's what the presidents, right? They're affiliated with the Illuminati, with Moloch and all that. That's what they were doing, teaching. Even the Catholic Church was doing that. But that's what we're here for, right? For wherever we can help out, we can help out. There's a lot of kids that were messed, that were put stuff in their head since junior high, elementary, dealing about uh, they can be whatever they want to be, even though they're a male or a female. That's corrupted them. A lot of them are in depression right now. If they're depressed and they're taking medications for it, that's a spiritual opening.
And they're
And
taking their
if they don't know Jesus Christ, it already has them where it wants them, against the ropes. That's why I wish that I could reach out to everybody that I can reach out to, be able for them to fight for themselves and free themselves from that. What do you call it? What was bestowed in their heads that was not right, to make it right. Trust me, man. There's a lot of kids with a lot of confusion in school, and who masters in confusion? Demons, DDN, Lucifer.
That is such
That's
a
what they do.
precise word to describe what's happening. Confusion. Because if you don't know
Chaos.
yourself, then like you have no pillar to stand with yourself and to base things like your perception of the world off of. Because you end up being like these Nephilim, just disembodied. You're not supposed to be in this body. Like that's what they're teaching these kids. Like, oh, you're in the wrong body. No, you're in the body you're supposed to be right now. Just the fact that you're here is a miracle. So yeah, it's so wrong. I
But
was
I think
raised in
yeah,
Catholic school.
confusion, chaos, division. That's what they focus on. Just like the people that try to attack me, brother Just Turner. That's what they want. But we're not playing that game. We're not going to give them the openings that they want. I can pretend to be mad. I can pretend to be. I used to do that in the military. But what's in the heart that counts, right? So, like Montana Love Foundation, I don't have to worry about people coming up against me in a negative way. But there's people like the people that come up against me, brother Just Turner. That's what they're about. They're affiliated with those things, so they're going to come at us in a negative way. So it becomes spiritual warfare. So in saying that, let me do a little prayer. Heavenly Father, at this time, I want to pray for me, brother Josh Turner, for everybody here on Spiritual Encrypted Encounters. If anybody's being targeted spiritually through witchcraft, necromancy, or through any negative attachment like spirits, we take authority over anything that anybody's trying to do against us. Take authority over that in Jesus Christ's name. We tie, bind, and rebuke you in Jesus Christ's name. Leave us alone. We don't accept any form of negativity, and go back to the sender because we don't accept that negativity or any indirect witchcraft or bad thoughts towards us. We deflect it in Jesus Christ's name. Go back to the sender. This we pray in your name, Heavenly Father. Amen.
yeah. Yeah, man, that stuff about not being in your own body, man. One time I thought I was a lemon and I found a lake that thought it was a gin and tonic, so I was jumping in and out of it. Oh, man.
But I think we should save some for Thursday. We'll have another open mic. We're 3 hours and 13 minutes right now.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody have anything to say to the audience? We still have 39 viewers, but I know it's kind of late right now. It's 2:14 in the morning.
Yes, sir.
Anything anybody would like to say before I guess we go? We could always pick it up back on
On Thursday?
Thursday. If you want to join back again,
Hmm.
everybody that's here in the chat, whoever wants to join back again on Thursday, you're more than welcome. We'll have another open mic night.
Are you still
Whatever you
here,
want to talk
Sadie?
about.
There
Yeah,
you
for
are.
sure.
All right, so you
Yeah, I had a bit of a spiritual standoff
know, sorry.
outside. I'm pretty sure that's what it was, but it's fine.
Yeah, well,
So
my mom thought she heard somebody fighting outside. She thought it was my brother who lives next door, so She had me go outside. You know, I hate going out there after sundown, man. I don't have to go outside after sundown. There's demons out there.
A
Yeah, especially if you live out in the country like me.
lot of activity.
Mhm. A lot, and it's dark.
Okay, then, cousin, I'm gonna say goodbye. Ladies and
All right,
gentlemen,
cuz.
thank you for coming in and spending time here with us. We enjoy it so much when you come in here and we get to talk about everything that we talk about. And saying that sleep well, may the Lord protect you while you sleep. May your day be filled with abundance and all the blessings that the Lord has to give you. Cousin, good night. Good night, Cynthia. Good night, Madeline.
Good
Good
night,
Good night,
Cousin
night.
cousin.
Jesse.
Ugh. Now I could take it off the charger. Woohoo! Got 81%, cousin.
Yeah, thank you everyone for being here, and even in the chat. Like, I really enjoy seeing everyone
You can plug your
participating.
show, brother. Here. Where can they find you?
Oh yeah, you could find me at Yissel Missile Productions on YouTube. YISSILMISSIL, and I've been covering a lot of the Bermuda Triangle, the Chicago film history or industry in the 1900s. Now I'm getting into the Great Lakes Triangle, and so I also have these shipwreck books that I'm getting into. So like tonight's topic was just right down my alley. But
Maybe you and me could do a something, on that
I think that'd
There,
be a
topic.
there
real
you
good
go.
idea. Like,
That'd
you have a lot of information I
Yeah.
don't have, so us sharing stories, I think that we can put together a pretty good show. I think tonight was awesome. Thank
Yeah,
you for having us here, Abe. I
Mm-hmm.
man.
appreciate
There's times I think one time I had a
Yeah.
show for about 9 hours or 10 hours. I went from like 10 to like 7, 8 in the morning. Me with different people, and then brother showed up, and we just man talked like 8 in the morning, 9 in the morning. It was an all nighter we had,
Yeah, I remember
but
that.
I'm trying to minimize it, not to go too long.
it. Whenever I go on Brenda's show on Beyond the Box, we end up going like over 4 hours. It's like every
Yeah,
time I'm on there, but it's just like,
There's just so much
yeah, the
information to
conversation
share.
goes, and so we have a good time just talking to each other. So
Mhm.
tomorrow we got Werewolf Wednesday, so y'all more than welcome to join Werewolf Wednesday. Do it. I don't know what time I'm gonna do it yet because I do have an appointment in the morning, so I might do it at 10 o'clock. I'm not sure, but we'll figure it out tomorrow.
All right. Well, thank you for having me, Abe. Always appreciate you.
Thank you for being on.
So, good night, everybody.
yep. Good night.
Good night. Okay, here we go. Here you go, folks. 3 hour show. We could have probably got another hour. We're gonna call it a night here on Spiritual Encrypted Encounters. I want to say thank you for those that tuned in. Appreciate y'all. Again, thank you for all the people that tune in and support the channel. Just by being here and chatting on the chat. We always keep an eye on the chat. I hope you enjoyed the show tonight. And tomorrow we'll be having Werewolf Wednesday, brothers and sisters. Thank you. God bless you. Always remember to tell your loved ones I love you because we never know when that time is. So tell your loved ones I love you and never give up. If there's a negative thought or some kind of depression that tries to come to you, tie bind and rebuke it in Jesus Christ's name. Uh, because it's within you to overcome any trials and tribulations that come your way. Uh, Especially when you have Jesus Christ with you, you can pray to the Heavenly Father, and He will assist you spiritually. In saying that, good night, everybody, and God bless you. Sarn Sia signing off for Spiritual Encrypted Encounters. Peace out, everybody.